So I hope everyone's having a good day at home. We're about to be getting on into some great Starcraft here. Without further ado, spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map, the blue Terran player playing for Team Mao's Esports. It is Hero Marine. You'll have to forgive me if I butchered the pronunciation of that team. And playing up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is Serral, the red Zerg player. So the first map is Ascension to Iron. Now, this is one of the first tournaments. This is actually the first Afreeca world on this map pool, so we're going to have to see how it goes. Ascension to Iron. It's quite a large map. A lot of players have commented on a large map, but it still sort of feels very close for the players. It's sort of straight to each other. There's the watchtowers in the center. I just got a... Oh, no, both players are still 0-0. That is not correct. There we go. So, we're already seeing the start here. Now, Hero Marine's a player who sort of goes for really decisive builds, is what I remember. They're not necessarily the completely standard builds here. But here they are, and we're actually just seeing a command center first, which is just sort of ridiculous. It's almost unheard of in Zerg versus Terran. On a map like this, which is larger, and if Hero Marine knows Serral, that's certainly a build that can work, that can pay off. It's uncommon, as if a Zerg goes for a rush, you're pretty much dead. But Hero Marine's chancing it in the first game, and that's sort of what we see in Afreeca world here. Just tabbing out here because I totally forgot to update the title. So just gonna take care of that real quick. Alright, now we don't have to worry about that for the rest of the game. And now back to the games here. So, Serral's not going to be aware of this. As this is a Zerg player, you don't really expect the Terran to go for something absurd like Command Center first. It's just pretty unheard of in the matchup. It's not, like, incredibly uncommon, but it's one of those builds which we don't see often right now, because if Serral did suspect something like this, he'd be moving out across the map with these 4 lings that he made. Instead, he's keeping them at home because the standard build is a Reaper here. Hero Marine, he's just following this up, playing quite greedy, if I say so. Just no Reaper, no delayed Marine, anything like that. Just getting right on into a reactor. So he's likely going to start producing Hellions. He's still going to want that map control. So this is a really neat build coming out of Hero Marine here. Not standard, but not... It's still sort of flowing normally, just a bit delayed. He's going to have an amazing economy, as Serral has not thrown up a third base yet. Look at this, Serral just scared of a potential Reaper still. Throwing up his third base, but really there's no danger, not until these first 2 Hellions pop out. And they did just move out now. Serral came in with his Overlord, is just doing what Zergs do, knowing that there's no fear of any early Marine when they see that reactor on the starport. And now he's just going to move out with that Overlord, but he hasn't confirmed an additional CC. He can likely assume there's going to be an additional CC. He's going to see the starport researching a cloak for the Banshees here. So that is nice seeing that. Now, Hero Marine may choose to follow this up maybe with a bit of a Banshee Hellbat timing. That's a little bit more common. It could just be some harassment, but I'm surprised he did just let that be seen, not trying to bait or anything like that. I guess he's just confident with the Cloak Banshee. He's going to try and make that work. So we have the Hellions poking for Hero Marine, the creep spread starting off for Serral. This is a map in which creep spread can be very critical here, as there's sort of lots of attack angles, so getting all them covered with creep is very nice. Hero Marine, I believe, canceling 2 tumors there. Very nicely done by him. He's still just getting up a 3rd command center here, so Hero Marine is just macroing away. He's very confident, and this is the type of Terran player that I love to watch here. A Terran who's just confident enough to macro, particularly versus someone like Serral, who's just known to be one of the top Europeans right now. And maybe that's why Hero Marine's macroing, as opposed to trying to get damage done versus someone who's so solid like Serral. He's just going to try and macro up himself. Now, there is actually cloak done on this Banshee, and Serral sort of neglected to get spores here, so this Banshee's going to come in, and there's actually going to be no detection, so it's going to have free reign. If Hero Marine controls this, the Spore Crawler is just going to finish up, but there should be at least 4 drones going down here, possibly a 5th, and then the Banshee's just going to move north. Now there's, this Banshee still does have Cloak. The Hellions are poking and prodding. Lots of Queens for sale, though, so this creep spread is going to start moving out very, very quickly here. The Banshee is just flying around somewhere. There we go. It's just trying to get away from those Queens, and it looks like it will survive there. Now this Overlord is moving in for Serral to see what's going on. He's just seeing an incredibly greedy bio setup for Hero Marine. He's hardly got any units out right now. That's just because he's gone straight into all his production into his 3rd command center. So there's not going to be any sort of drop harassment early on that sometimes happened in Terran versus Zerg. No, this is going to be Hero Marine powering up, and then he's going to push across the map and just simply try to kill Serral. As Hero Marine's had a great economy, he's got that fast 3rd command center. He's going to be able to transfer plenty of SCVs towards this 3rd base, and he's just going to start producing units non-stop here. 1-1 is ahead of Serral's 1-1. He's likely going to throw up an armory soon, go straight into his 2-2 here, or he may just go for a very strong timing. An armory would be nice to transform these Hellbats with the attack here. Serral's sort of making a creep wall before this push comes out, but it looks like Hero Marine's going to likely go up this ramp here. Maybe he'll go across the middle and just try to deny some creep right now. But Serral, he's just playing this Lingbane style. No roaches coming out of him. So he's going to rely on this to defend, but this is going to be quite a bit from Hero Marine coming across the map. However, where are the Medivacs for Hero Marine? He's just finished up that starport. He's got 2 Medivacs moving across the map, so now he has that sort of... I'm trying to think of the word here. Alright, I'm honestly drawing a blank, but the mobility, that's what I was looking for. There's no Baneling speed for sale right now, so Hero Marine can just micro-poke and prod. Loses 1 or 2 Hellions to the Banelings there, but that was a nice trade. Hellions are sort of just there to absorb right now. It looks like Serral's trying to get on top of this army here. Hero Marine may be forced to lift off into the Medivacs. Instead, he's trying to focus fire all the Banelings down. He gets most of them, but 1 or 2 of them does connect. Those Marines don't have combat shield just yet, I believe. Or it might have actually just finished up right during that fight there. But here we see, this is just the sort of effect of that Banshee getting 1 or 2 kills there. Hero Marine's actually going to deny a macro hatchery with those Banshees. Very nicely done, but that's the effect. Hero Marine's just been macroing up right now. He played incredibly greedy. He was not punished for it. And now he's just producing non-stop, and that just sets you ahead. He's got his 2-2 on his way. Serral also does have his 2-2, so there's no upgrade lead right now. We're seeing Hero Marine starting up another factory, so he's actually going to be going into tanks here. It's going to be interesting to see how this works versus Serral. There's no indication of Mutalisk on the way yet for Serral, so that's not going to be there to shut down these tanks here. So it is just going to be this sort of Lingbane versus tanks, which is sort of like just both players are very brittle in a way, because if the Lings get on top of the tanks while they're on siege, then that's a lot less value for Hero Marine, but Serral sort of needs to get on top of the tanks before any potential attack gets in there. So Infestation Pit on the way for Serral, so likely just going to be wanting to get towards this next tech, maybe going to be just playing Infestor. Ling may go for Ultras here. We see a potential run by getting scouted, but that 1 Hellion laid down his life here. The Lings are going to come for a run by here. Hero Marine, he's got plenty back at home, and that is plenty there. This 1 tank, the few Marines is going to drive that off, but there's so much more there for Hero Marine. Another run by. So Serral's out on the map with these Lings. He's pushing. Hero Marine's actually just got so many, 79 Marines, 4 tanks, not a single Marauder. Okay, this is a glass cannon if I've ever seen one right now. As if Hero Marine gets sort of engaged roughly by a large amount of Banelings, he's going to have a bad time, but if he has good splits, this army will just steamroll Serral in a way. He's at 200 supply before the Zerg player. That's not something that a Zerg will be comfortable with. Right now we see more Banelings on the way for Serral, so it looks like he's going to go for a Baneling bust into sort of harassment here. Hero Marine's just rallying all his units back at this wall though, so that will certainly help clean this up. Here, now, Serral does have very great creep spread. This hasn't been denied too much by Hero Marine, so he is just being pushed. He's going to have a tough time pushing in on this creep, as you know, versus Banelings with pretty much a pure Marine army. Pushing on the creep is very risky business right now. We now see this Ling counterattack right now. The wall lifts, though. There's a Marauder, there's a tank, a few Marines. That I don't believe that attack's going to get too much done. And the main story right now is Hero Marine pushing in, though. This is just very scary for both players right now. Cyril, he's building banelings. He's actually going into this Hydra Ling style right now. He's already got 20 banelings, another 20 on the way right now, so this is going to be an absurd amount. Hero Marine's going to need a great split right now. He's pulling back. These tanks not all sieged up right now, so that's going to make things a little bit rough. Some of the Marines kiting back, not getting connected on with the banelings, so now it's just the Hydras. Those 20 other banelings have just finished up, though. There's one Banshee trying to get something done, but it's not going to find too much. Hero Marine's forced to evacuate right now. Cyril held that attack. 3-3 on the way for Hero Marine right now. However, Cyril has a hive done. He can start his own 3-3. He can get his adrenal glands, so those Zerglings deal tons of damage right now. So Hero Marine's sort of macro into push hasn't really worked off, as Cyril had amazing creep spread, and now his push isn't going to get too much done. So he's going to continue macro and go into a 4th base, but generally the state of the game does favor the Zerg player here. Overlord getting cleaned up there. We see a Ling run by coming in. This is actually a crazy amount of Lings. They don't quite have their 3-3 and adrenal guns yet, so they're not going to be quite as strong, but this is still a lot of Lings to harass the space. Hero Marine, though, going to clean it up. Not going to lose too much there. Just a tank and a few units. Meanwhile, though, Cyril's macroing up. Going to be getting towards Ultralisk right now. He's going to be just continuously spreading his creep right now. He's just got an absurd amount of creep. He's on 5, going into 6 bases right now, so the Zerg player is happy. He's just macroing. Hero Marine was content to macro, but apparently so was Cyril right there. Now we see another Ling run by, not likely going to get too much done, as it is going to intercept these reinforcements here. Hero Marine's had good reaction time to these so far. Actually, he's pushing forward, but he needs to pull a few units back. Those Lings are going to get cleaned up right now, and now we see Hero Marine's pushing at the front. He's added in a few more Marauders. Doesn't want to have to fear those banelings too much, but now there's Ultras on the way. Tanks, though, can deal with Ultras. They deal quite a bit of damage versus armored, as long as they're all sieged up. Hero Marine can't really afford to be caught off guard once again. We see these Marauders soaking a large amount of banelings. That's a very nice trade for Hero Marine. The Marauders just poking forward. The Queen's sort of being forced back. And it looks like Hero Marine may be able to get this base here. Cyril, though, gonna be content to let that happen, as he wants his Ultras to get that 3-3. He wants that chitinous plating. Hero Marine is gonna want to siege up these tanks right away, as this attack could come down the ramp at any second right now. One of the Ultras poking forward doesn't quite have chitinous plating, so if there's gonna be a fight for Hero Marine, now would be the best time, and Cyril knows that he doesn't want to take this. 3-3 is gonna be finishing up for Hero Marine, so both players having upgrades finishing right now. 1 or 2 banelings rolls forward, though, gets a good connection. Hero Marine having a bit of a rough time right now. We see him just poking, though. He's just pushing hard right now. We see Cyril not really able to get a flank right now. A lot of these tanks are fairly weak, though, and now it looks like Cyril is coming in for a flank. Hero Marine doing his best to micro his units. However, this sort of ball he has sitting at the ramp is standing strong right now. The Ultra's getting picked off right now, and Hero Marine is jumped ahead in supply. He's up ahead 40 supply. There's only 1 Ultra right now for Cyril. And he actually doesn't have too much. Maybe produced drones and things a little bit too early. And Hero Marine eventually wins out with the macro game. Very well played there. So the first game actually goes to Hero Marine, taking down Cyril. So that's pretty much what you can hope for a first game of a tournament. Very well done by Hero Marine. That's why I'm very glad to have him in this tournament. He's just a player who can win no matter what. I mean, you don't really, particularly versus Cyril, who's arguably the best European right now. So the second map is going to be Defender's Landing, and that's actually Hero Marine's pick. He won on Cyril's map pick there. So we're not going to be wasting too much time here. We're going to get right on into the next game, as there's going to be a lot of Starcraft. It's not just this one best of 5. We're going to have another best of 5 and then a best of 7 finals here. So both players ready up, both of them ready. So like I said, not wasting any time. We're getting on into the game. I hope you guys are enjoying this, as that was just the first game right now. Alrighty, so we've done game number 1 of this best of 5, and now Hero Marine is actually up on top right now. Currently 1-0 in his favor, spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map. The Terran player and the Zerg player, his opponent, currently down 0-1. It is a best of 5 though, so lots of room for these players to come back here. It is Cyril. Now, for you guys that are unaware and haven't really watched the past few Afreeca Worlds, we have sort of a crazy trend in which the players tend to get... There's a lot of 3-0s, 3-1s, things like that. We don't actually have too many series go to Game 5 or Game 7, whatever like that. So we're going to see if Cyril can break the sort of curse here. That is the Afreeca world. Now it looks like just standard openings. Now Hero Marine opened up incredibly greedy in the last game. And in sort of tournaments like this, we see a lot of the extreme here. So we're going to see, right now it is just standard openings from these players. We may sort of see an all-in. We may see something like that come out of either of them though. And this is a best of 5, so we'll most likely see maybe another crazy build. But for now, both players are just going very standard. And that's not too surprising, though, when you think about it, when it's Hero Marine and Cyril. So the map is Defender's Landing here. It's sort of this odd map. It's a bit of a throwback to... I'm blanking on the name, but it was a very close spawn map, sort of similar to this. Just sort of with the bit of a maze as far as the paths go. Lots of rocks that are blocking off the pathways, and that can sort of go either way for each race. But Hero Marine, he's just sort of playing it a bit more safe this time, actually. Maybe fearing a bit of an early pool, maybe fearing a bit of a potential Ravager rush or something like this. Going for a CC on the high ground, so it's going to have to float that little bit of distance. So he's a bit of mind games going on between these players. Hero Marine going for an incredibly quick CC in the first game, a bit more of a safe one in the second game. Going for a Reaper this time. Now it's possibly just the map preferences. It is a much smaller map right now. The Reaper's going to move in here, possibly harass at a drone or two. Not likely going to kill one with players at this caliber right now. Maybe get a Ling or two, but Cyril's microing back. Hero Marine does get one Ling there, but Cyril's going to be more than happy for his Ling to give up its life for a drone. So speed on the way for Cyril. Just very standard openings from these players. Hero Marine, it looks like he's going to be going for a bit of a 2-1-1 here. So this is a bit of a throwback to the build that was done every other Terran versus Zerg a while back. So it can still always get damaged, and it's just a build which sometimes Zerg players hold it off perfectly, sometimes the Terran player can find some room. It's sort of weird how it hasn't necessarily been completely figured out, despite it being figured out like that. Now with Cyril, we're going to see if he'll go for a third base right again, or maybe he'll go for something a bit more tech-wise, but most likely just going to be a third base on the way for Cyril. Those Lings are moving out, going to secure the expansion there. Hero Marine floating his own main base, maybe loses 1 or 2 seconds of mining for 1 or 2 SCVs there by having to float it over. So Hero Marine just gearing up into this 2-1-1 right now, just going to have that reactor on the starport, going to swap that over. Having Stim on the way. Now, the 2-1-1's a bit of a weak build to aggression, but Cyril is happily playing macro once again, getting into that lair right away, just producing mass queens right now. He's already up to 5 queens. He's just going to start spreading that creep once again. That bought him a lot of time in the last game, but it didn't quite buy him enough, I guess, as he did go down. But Hero Marine, he's not going to have quite that strong macro push. He's going to be going for a bit of a more timing attack here with this 2-on-1. Trying to get some damage and then to transition into whatever. Before it was just go straight into macro. We see these rocks are getting picked off. Cyril sort of sees that, but he's not really aware. He might have been paying attention there to sort of see the rate in which the rocks died, sort of see the Marines firing from the shadow there to sort of know that it could be a 2-on-1. So Cyril may be aware that this is coming, and he is producing more Lings on the way. He's making a Baneling nest. Now, oddly enough, Banelings, while they're great versus Marines, are not necessarily the greatest versus a 2-on-1, as a good player with good micro, like Hero Marine, can always pick off some of the Banelings and not really worry about any losses. Hero Marine getting that wall off, going to be going into his 2-2 right away, so it could be that Hero Marine's going to be playing sort of on more 2 bases this time, not going for a third base on a map like this, just wanting to get damaged and keep going and then end the game early on here. Now here Marine's gonna poke and prod, get a creep tumor or two, but with all these creeps, queens here, it's not likely gonna be too much. He just moves in and stims. The medivacs need to be careful. He actually gets the queen though, that's very nice of him. Keeping that queen count down is always a nice thing for the Terran player, but besides that queen, it's not likely going to be too much. Now, this is sort of what Zerg players do on a map like this. Going for some harassment is Serral. Third CC on the way for Hero Marine, so he is going to be wanting to go for that sort of more macro transition. He runs up with the Ling, sort of sees the wall, sees the E-base there. Oh, but there's actually Banelings here, so this is going to be a sort of impromptu bust here. Hero Marine trying to focus down one or two of the Banes, but the wall is going to fall right now. All the well, there's actually one Baneling left, but and all these Lings can't really push versus those Stim Marines. So great defense by Hero Marine, just keeping his rallies at home. He's actually going to intercept those Marines there. The Medivacs are going home. He's going to want to kill off that Overlord. So Hero Marine staying very focused on his control right now, killing off that Overlord, not taking any damage from that counterattack. Possibly going to want to repair that eBay as losing an upgrade later on if Serral tries the same again could be very painful. Now, looking at the supply in this game, it sort of tells the story of how the players opened up. Serral opened up the same, just started macroing. Hero Marine opened up aggressive, but didn't get too much damage done. Now, he still is going to have this sort of poke and prod. He's going to have a slightly quicker 1-1, so he may have a bit of a window to trade versus Lings, but Serral does have Banelings right now, so Hero Marine's not likely going to be able to get too much done on this creep. And that's exactly why Serral spread his creep. This third base is floating over right now. Armory is going to be finishing up for Hero Marine, so he's going to be able to start his 2-2 fairly soon right now. He's going to need to deal with these Lings before he lands the space. Just poking and prodding into Hero Marine, wanting to always clear up some creep. Maybe able to get a queen or two here. Nope, just going to continuously deny these tumors right now, or as many of them as he can. Serral just morphing more Banelings. He wants that map control. Centrifugal Hooks is on the way for Serral right now, so just going to be heading into more of the same as the last game, but obviously he's going to have a bit of the macro edge in this game, so Hero Marine may be a little bit tough pressed to get some damage done, as he's not going to have that supply and sort of crisp window as he did in the last macro game. He's sort of going to have to fight more for any damage that he gets done right now. Serral getting into a fourth base right now. Hero Marine just poking, prodding, forced lift up in these medivacs. There's no sign of mutas, and Serral has been in this sort of, well, in the first game, and it seems to be in the second game too, that he's delaying mutas a little bit. That is sort of a trend with Zerg players who can defend and are capable of defending with just Lings, that they just macro up then go into the mutas when they can produce a lot more, as opposed to trying to get the value with the smaller amount of mutas right now. Hero Marine moving in, actually going to sort of cut off this creep arm, I guess. That's very nice of him to do that. There's one or two more tumors over on that side though. All these Lings running around that one Marine is going to be done for right now. Hero Marine may be able to intercept these Lings, sort of keep him busy. They're sort of cut off there, but look at this. We may actually see a sandwich coming in for Serral, trying to pick off all these Marines here. Hero Marine, he's moving. If he's not paying attention, he'll be having a rough time. Oh, he actually doesn't quite. Loses about half the Marines there. Picks up just in time to save a significant number of them, though, but still taking a few losses there. Serral just trying to make sure Hero Marine's paying attention there. Hive on the way for Serral, so not even going for that Spire, just once again straight into that Hive there. So just that Ling Ultra Cell, he's confident with the ground here, so maybe Hero Marine will adapt to this later in the series. Maybe he'll start going for more Liberators early on to force a Spire, to force something like Ravagers as a... Without anything else, there's not much that he can really do against his air units, but Hero Marine is just opting for plenty of the Spire right now. He's actually building up this crazy Marine count once again. 60 Marines, 3 tanks, double tank production here, so this is certainly Hero Marine style coming into play. Once again though, Baneling's getting fairly nice connections there from Serral, picking off every unit counts. Players are even on supply right now, but in a situation like this, it's very nice for the Zerg player. SCV's forced off the mineral line there. Hero Marine needing to resaturate those gases. Fourth base was delayed. Meanwhile, Serral's already saturated his fourth base. We now see Liberators on the way for Hero Marine, so that's going to be very nice for him, as there is no air tech on the way for Serral right now. Tanks still being produced. +1 on the way, but not +2 armor, so Hero Marine going to want to start that as soon as he can. As long as he has the +3 attack, that's not the end of the world. He did get +1 vehicle weapons, so his tanks will pack more of a punch, which is very nice, as they are going to be his main tool for dealing with these Ultralisks right now. We see all these banelings here, so Hero Marine's going to need to be careful. He's kiting back. A lot of banelings roll forward, though. Eats a few tank shots. Not all of them going down, though. Okay, so the 5 Ultralisk about to pop here. They're all going to be rallying to the front there. Serral going for another counterattack. He's just one of those Zergs. He's just going to be relentless with this. Hero Marine's doing a good job. Not really being too caught off guard, though, by this. Was the 4th base cancelled again, though? I believe it was. That's actually massive. That's actually really putting a timer on Hero Marine to get something done. These Lings are just being a constant pain. Moving forward, once again, possibly going to delay this 4th base. Yet again, actually moving towards the mineral line. Hero Marine needs to pull. 1 or 2 of these banelings going to connect. SCV's going down. I mean, Hero Marine's still got this base saturated, but he's being kept at home when the time's in the favor of Serral right now, as he is just building up into these Ultras. He's now getting a Spire. He's going to be getting all his upgrades on the way. More Queens on the way, so he's just going to want to dump Transfuses into those Ultralisks right now. A few Liberators out for Hero Marine, so that's sort of going to be very tough for Serral to deal with until he has the Spire. All these tanks are moving in, but Serral's not going to give Hero Marine the time of day right now. All these tanks just siege up to get a few shots off and then are forced back. These 2 Liberators are going to be there, so Serral can't really push up. Well, actually, he's just got enough Queens to push into these Liberators right now, and it looks like Hero Marine is going to be in a lot of trouble right now. More Liberators are sieging up, and now Serral's forced backwards, but it is just Marines for Hero Marine. A lot of his tanks went down. Their tank count was practically reset. He's still just got a large Marine count, and that's not really enough to deal with this. Once again, another attack coming in from Serral to try and get some damage done. He destroyed those rocks, so Hero Marine's going to need to wall that off there. Hero Marine opting for some harassment with the Liberators, which is very nice of him. We see another counterattack for Serral getting ready. He's just relentless. He's got half this map covered in creep right now. Very well done by Serral, just staying alive, and that's sort of the openings, just changing this game completely there. We see a greater Spire on the way for Serral, so not skipping any time going into Mutalisk or Corruptors just yet or anything like that. He's just going to want to transition into Broodlords, and when you have Broodlords and Ultras versus a Terran who doesn't really have Ghosts or anything like that, it's just going to be very tough for Hero Marine to deal with this. We see lots of tanks for Hero Marine. He's still producing them, but as those Broodlords eventually come out, it's going to make his life very rough right now. We see this Liberator trying to get some harassment done, getting a few kills, but just going to be driven off, and at this point something more than a few drone kills is needed for Hero Marine. Serral's maxed out. He's building a bank. Serral's pushing it right now. This Planetary's not quite set up, but he is pulling back regardless, not wanting to overcommit. Liberator's getting a few more drones here. Hero Marine doing a great job with these drops too so far, but really he needs something. He needs an amazing fight right now. So Hero Marine's actually transitioning right now, just preparing for these Ultras, actually making Thors. This is a bit of a throwback to early Legacy of the Void, as that's when Terran players were trying to figure out how to deal with this late game Zerg to deal with the Ultras, and the answer sort of was Thors for a time, but then it never really stuck. But Hero Marine, we're going to see how this works out. The patch hasn't gone out just yet here, so they don't quite have that 1 extra armor yet, but they're still a very great unit. They can pseudo-deal with Broodlords. They can tank versus Ultras and Masslings here. We now see this drop for Hero Marine. There's still really no mass air. There's just Corruptors coming out now. Not too many. Okay, there's 1 or 2 Thors here. They're going to be tough pressed to deal with all these Lings. Serral going for another counterattack. He's not letting up with this, and this actually may sort of open up the door for him to go for an attack right now. Both players equal on supply, but the bank tells a different story. The upgrades, the army composition is just very nice for Serral. It would be nice to see an Infestor or two just to sort of lock down this army and just sort of smash Hero Marine. But he's still in a very great situation right now, and Hero Marine's still in a tough one. This Planetary is sort of his lifeline into this game right now. We're still seeing more Thors, more Vikings on the way. So now this is what I love about watching Hero Marine play. He's a player who's not afraid to go late game versus Zerg. Most other Terrans would really be sweating right now. Hero Marine, though, he's just getting ready. He's swapped those Thors in case of Broodlords. Maybe he's actually scouted the Greater Spire, and that's what tipped him off. So he did scout the Greater Spire. So that's why he's making all these Thors and getting ready. So he's actually going to do what can be very tough and contest the Zerg air army. Now, he's going to have to fight off these Corruptors, so he's going to need a lot of Vikings. He's getting these ship weapons right now. And now we're actually seeing a Nidus coming into the main base of Hero Marine. One Thor's popping out, one Viking. But not too much to deal with this. Hero Marine's going to hear that sort of scream there, and he's going to have to pull back to deal with this. Nidus Worm unloading. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Ultras going into his main base. Another one on the other side of the map, because why not? Hero Marine's going to be forced to play Whack-A-Mole. All these Marines came back, but these are Ultralisk right now, so these Marines are going to be tough pressed to deal with this. The Thors are actually going to be very helpful for dealing with this right now, but Cyril's sort of going to be pulling Hero Marine apart. Actually kills off that one Nidus Worm. That's very nice right now, and actually forces all those Ultralisk back. Nope, they're all just popping out once again here. Hero Marine, just when he thinks he's safe, these Ultras run out. And now this Planetary Fortress under siege by these Broodlords. Hero Marine needs to deal with this. He's got... how many Vikings? He's got 10 Vikings, however there's 7 Corruptors, a large amount of Queens of Dump Transfuses. Now, these Thors are actually very critical for dealing with this. They do a great amount of damage. The Banelings are going to roll forward. Not going to do too much versus Thors. They're not be very efficient, but honestly it might not matter at this point. Though most of the Corruptors have gone down, so these Broodlords will be shot at the Vikings right now, but the Queens may actually just be enough to secure this for Cyril right now. More Vikings moving in, so eventually these Broodlords will be forfeit, but so are more Corruptors coming in right now, and that's actually likely going to be too much for Hero Marine. GG gets called as Cyril ties up the series. Okay, so that's game number 2 there, done here. We've tied up the series 1-1. That's really what we can hope for. Hopefully this will go to game 5. Okay, and the third map's going to be Abyssal Reef, which is actually Cyril's map choice, so we're going to see if he can sort of take the lead here. So both these players playing very well, but it's sort of just how their timings lined up. It was more in Cyril's favor that game, as the Hero Marine didn't get away with something incredibly greedy. So I hope you guys are enjoying this Invitational here. It's certainly got a lot of great players, and it's certainly not going to be the last match right now, as this is a best of 5. Both players are ready up, so we're going to be getting right on into the game here. And after this series, we're actually going to have a best of 5 between Petit Drogo and a Laser. Laser being the previous champ of Afreeca World, just sort of came in and stomped it. And we may actually even have potential for a Cyril, a Laser rematch from the WCS Challenger Finals here. So a lot of potential great matches here. It's currently 1-1 in this series right now. We're going to see which player's way it will sort of tilt. Spawning down the bottom right, you know him. He's Cyril. And his opponent, the Terran player here, Marine, we're going to see what he sort of busts out this time to sort of set the pace of the game here. It's not too likely we'll see something like a greedy CC, as it is fairly risky. We're actually seeing a gas first out of Hero Marine, so maybe he's really going to turn on the aggression, or it could just be something like a 2-on-1 once again here. Probably we're going to have to see. There's also lots of room for Cyril to potentially bring something out. So now we're actually seeing Cyril going for the bit of aggression right now. He's gone for not an incredibly aggressive pool. It wasn't something like, oh, did that just... Okay, no, never mind. So not something like an incredibly greedy pool here. And by greedy, I mean aggressive. He's playing it a bit safe. Just sort of a more poke into macro here is what Cyril's likely going to be going for. He's getting out of gas, so he's going to want to put a bit of pressure on Hero Marine, sort of test him, I guess, to see if he's going to be prepared for something like this. Now, Hero Marine, he's built his rack, so he's indicating for a reactor, as there is that bit of room for the reactor right away. So we'll see if he goes for a quick reactor. No, he's going for the Reaper here. However, there's this wall, and that might not get filled. We'll see if he keeps the Reaper at home. But this one Overlord's moving out for Cyril. It might get there in time to sort of see that Reaper move out there. But we are going to have 1 or 2 Lings moving out for Cyril. It's a bit of a safer play right now. It looks like he's just happily droning behind this. Happily going into macro, just making 1 or 2 Lings and going to try and delay this CC for Hero Marine most likely. These Lings will try and dodge the Reaper. This Overlord just going to see that Reaper. Yeah, he does, so he sees it moving out, so Cyril knows that he can get this CC delayed. As Hero Marine's going right on into that reactor. So Hero Marine's going to need to pull this Reaper back, but no, he actually turns it right away, so this is actually very nice for Hero Marine. He's going to know that Cyril opened up with this early pool. Seeing Lings, they're not supposed to be out on the map this early unless the Zerg player is being cheeky. And that's actually very nice for Hero Marine, as he's just opened up with a sort of standard Terran opening. Cyril opened up for a bit of an aggressive Zerg opening, and it didn't get too much done right now. Reactor on the way for Hero Marine, so going to be just producing these Hellions once again. He's wanting that map control. Going for a Tech Lab at Starport. We'll possibly see a Banshee again. This Reaper's moving in. It may actually be able to delay this 3rd base right now. That would actually be very nice for Hero Marine. He's going to immediately just run in front of it, stop that from coming out. These 2 Lings do have speed, so Hero Marine is going to need to micro this Reaper if he wants to keep it alive. It's going to have to go sort of cliff diving, I guess. 3rd base started up for Cyril eventually. And that Reaper's forced back. Now, there's going to be Hellions to join up with this Reaper, so Hero Marine will be poking. He's going into this Banshee. Hero Marine certainly has his distinct style right now. Raven, though, actually on the way for Hero Marine, so changing it up. Ravens have yet to sort of be patched, I guess is the term, not a nerf in a way. They're not going to be destroying drones, but for now they are, though. As for those of you unaware, there's most likely going to be a patch in which Ravens are actually going to deal less damage, but their auto turrets will stay longer on the ground there. But for now, they're a very effective harassment tool, so we'll see what Hero Marine can get, as their Ravens are sort of effective as Queen, as unless a Zerg player is going for an early Spire, there's really no easy way for them to deal with that. So you see this wall for Hero Marine. He did incredibly well in the first 2 series of just dealing with these run-bys, so as long as he's not caught off guard by something, he's got a very good chance in this game just to sort of macro up and just punish Cyril eventually. Cloak eventually on the way, so he's actually just opening up with a Raven here and then going into Cloak right now. We see 1 Spore Crawler on the way, in a good position to try and zone out a Raven, but ultimately a Raven can pretty much always get in and throw out an auto turret, so it's whether there's Lings or other things to defend. Raven comes in, gonna shoot 1, 2 drones. Oh, another 3rd. No, Cyril, good control, only losing 2 drones, which is basically the bare minimum that you can get in, just because it takes time for them to run away. So good job on Cyril keeping that alive. And now we're seeing these Banshees for Hero Marine. It's a bit of an interesting choice going for a Raven, then into Cloak. This Raven will actually be very nice for dealing with creep here. As it is a detector, it will allow Hero Marine to save scans as long as he keeps it alive. And that's actually just going to save him a lot of money if he eventually groups that up with his main army. So Cyril, got Queens in position, repositioning this Spore. Maybe he saw that Banshee there. Yeah, well, he has certainly now, as this Banshee's moving in. It's starting to kill off drones once again for Hero Marine. Getting good value with these Banshees. 6 drones, actually 9 in total. That Raven came in. Ooh, it might actually go down, just barely staying alive there. So that Raven, certainly weak. Hero Marine may want to repair that. These Hellions just poking in, not really denying too much creep right now. Cyril's doing a good job with that. That Raven's heading back home, likely going to be repaired and grouped up with the main army. I actually love to see that from a Terran player, but it's not really possible unless you open with that sort of tech lab. So that's why we don't see Ravens too often. 1-1 on the way for both players. Now, this is sort of, if we're following the trend of the first game going to Hero Marine, sort of from him going more greedy and getting away with it, then the second game sort of went Cyril's way, as he just sort of macroed, got away with it. Hero Marine, he was the macro player, not like super greedy or anything like that, but he's just been going for a very straightforward macro play here, and Cyril opened up a bit aggressive. He lost a few drones to these Banshees, so if we're following the trend here, this is going to tilt towards Cyril, but we'll see. There's always room for these players to get something done. Here, Marine, though, has done a great job not really giving Cyril room to get too much of an advantage. These Banshees actually coming in. Cyril trying to get away with a hatch there, but it's delayed. These Queens are moving in, trying to get shoo these Banshees away. Overseer pops out. Spire on the way for Cyril, so changing it up a little bit here, not going for a quick hive. Maybe it's the map, maybe it's the fact that there's Banshees. But looking at this, this is very nice for Hero Marine. He's got this Raven. Free creep cleanup. Say that 3 times fast. So that's actually very nice for Hero Marine, not to have to worry about burning scams or things like this. And this is actually a huge value for him. He's moving in right now. He's going to have Combat Shield finishing up. 1-1 finished up for both players. And Cyril has a few Banelings, only 6 right now, but if Hero Marine gets a good spread, that will be very nice. Auto turrets are actually going to be huge in a push like this. They're incredible versus Lings and Banelings. The Banshees, too, are going to give Hero Marine a lot of room, but it looks like there's a counterattack going down. 8 SCVs fall down, so Cyril finally finding some room there. Getting into the third base. Hero Marine, though, still up on supply. Army supply, he's very far ahead right now. And by very, I mean 30, which is a significant amount in a Terran versus Zerg when it comes to this sort of back and forth poking. 7 mutas on the way, so Cyril is going to sort of have this high value unit, so even though he's down on supply, he may be able to get something done. Hero Marine, not seeing mutas in this series so far, so no missile turrets. He hasn't scouted the Spire, so he's not quite aware of this right now. I believe he didn't see that Spire. No inclination of that at all, really, besides... Yeah, I mean, if he's following trend, there's really no way for him to know this. Maybe he'll see a muta rallying out across the map, but otherwise he's not going to be prepared. No, I don't think he saw one of those mutas, so 7 mutas, they can always wreak carnage on a mirror line, but Hero Marine, great job, though. He's done an incredible job just keeping his units rallied back. So these Marines will actually be enough to deal with these mutas right now. They're heading into the third base, and missile turret on the way, so Hero Marine is aware of this right now. Missile turret's going to be started in all the bases. The Marines moving forward. Now a Zerg player can pretty much always get some room. Hero Marine needs to run though. Okay, that was pretty close for him. So we're seeing these auto turrets thrown down to try and deal with these Banelings. It's sort of funny when a Terran player is trying to run away from the Banelings. The bio is just as quick as the Banelings, but they actually can't really do much besides run from it if the Banelings get close. Alright, so Hero Marine. He sort of didn't take too much damage from the Mutalisk there. He didn't lose too much of his army, so he's still going to have room, but Cyril's always going to be poking, so it's going to be time for either Hero Marine to shut down these mutas or get some damage done, and it's a lot more probable for him to deal with these, to try and get some damage done. However, this is an absurd amount of Banelings right now for Cyril. He's going to have about 40, lots of Widowmines for Hero Marine though, changing it up. No tanks this time, if you didn't notice. Widowmines connecting with the Banelings, but a few Banelings for 3 or 4 Widowmines there. That was a very nice trade right now. We see Hero Marine, he's going to have to rely on solid Kais. This Marauder trying his best to tank, but there's a lot of Banelings here. Hero Marine it's going to be very tough for him to get some damage done. He's going to need a very nice spread here. Right now we're just seeing Hero Marine rally across the map. Right now he's trying to poke, but Cyril's doing a good job right now. These mutas, this Mutalisk count's actually grown a significant amount. It's at 13 currently. He's investing in armor for them. He's currently got a flyer attacked right now, so they're actually going to start picking off reinforcements, sort of challenging missile turrets and wreaking more and more carnage as this game goes on. Hero Marine's rally isn't set up to deal with these mutas right now. He's going to need to consolidate some bio back at home. Otherwise, these mutas can just snowball, but Hero Marine, he's very busy trying to poke right now, and this is a bad situation for a Terran player, trying to get damage done while your base is under attack back at home. And versus the Zerg player, time is on Cyril's side right now, so Hero Marine is dropping in supply. He's trying to do his best to fight right now, but the Banelings are getting decent connections, and that's really all Cyril needs right now, is these mutas are on top of Hero Marine's production back at home, and this could simply just be checkmate right now. A lot of Hero Marine, the meal was a miss. Like, okay, apparently there's a manor meal. I missed it. A lot going on in that game. Cyril takes the lead in the series 2-1 right now. So we're gonna see here if Hero Marine can bring her back. That was Cyril's map pick, so a map Hero Marine will be more comfortable on is going to be Proxima Station here. We're going to see if he'll go for something greedy like a CC first on this map, as it's certainly possible. And this is actually, I remember back from IEM, Hero Marine, he's very great in Terran versus Zerg because he actually took down Solar in a great macro game on this map. I remember that. Alright, so we're just going to be getting right on into the game here. Just in a second, I'm actually going to have a drink of water, as these are quite long casts, these Afreeca worlds, so my throat may be dead by the end of this. But we're going to be getting on into the next game right now. Alrighty, so just making sure that everything's good for the next series, which is going to be a laser versus Petite Drogo. So spawning down the bottom left, currently down 0-1. I mean 1-2. Okay, that's certainly getting that wrong there. It is Cyril. Well, I mean it's Hero Marine. Okay, we're just butchering the openings right now. Cyril in the top left, Hero Marine in the bottom left. Okay, so we're just going to be getting right on into this right now. We're not likely going to see anything too cheeky, as it is Proxima Station. Significant to note, Cyril's expanding to this front base. Zerg players have pretty much been doing this since this map was figured out. It's just such a close choke point here that really no run bys or anything like that can get in. The third base, I mean, this in-base natural can sort of be dropped, and most importantly, creep can be spread. And Cyril's been doing a great job with this creep spread. So here we are, the spawning pool just on the way for Cyril. So nothing crazy like a third hatch, but Hero Marine, he's at it again. He wants to sort of recreate game number 1, in which he took with macro. CC first on the way, so Hero Marine, he's trying to get back to it, and that's what I was thinking with this map, is if there's a map to go CC first, it's Proxima Station. As there's simply, it's just a tiny ramp to secure both your bases. There's the back rocks, but those almost never get broken down in pro games unless it's a very late one. So Hero Marine, he's just gonna try and do what he did in the first game. Meanwhile, Cyril's just gonna macro up. I assume he'll most likely go for it. These players have styles. They're just trying to make it, the game sort of go their way as often as they can. Now we see here Marine, he's changed it up a little bit. Not an instant reactor. Actually went for a Marine before the reactor right now to poke back these overlords right now. Now there's actually this hole in his ramp, and these lings are coming across the map. This is a bit nerve-wracking right now. Okay, so Hero Marine is going to wall this up. He is going to need to lift this depot, though. Is he going to lift the depot? These lings are moving across. Cyril, from the first game, figure said it's the CC first again. These overlords are poking in. The depot is not lifted. Hopefully Hero Marine's paying attention right now. The lings may actually just... Okay, Hero Marine lifts. Cyril hesitated for a second there. That could have been a world of pain for Hero Marine there if the lings got in there. But not often we see something like that happen in pro games. Now, we see this reactor. Hellion's going to be on the way, so Hero Marine can poke again. Just going to be Hellions, no Reaper. Tech Lab on the way, so we'll possibly see that Raven Banshee again. That was working well, but then the Mutas sort of turned the game on its head. That last game really was because of the Mutas, as Hero Marine's his production couldn't simply rally. He was just getting picked off. He was bleeding off units, and he was forced to take a bad fight here. We'll possibly see a Raven, as Hero Marine's banking a lot of gas. Maybe Banshee, it's honestly pretty impossible to tell. It's really a player preference. Ravens are good on this map as there's lots of dead space for them to hang out till they build up energy. But it is actually going to be Banshees right away. There's one Marine in position to try and deny this Overlord here. Hellion's poking. Queen spreading creep for Cyril. He's going to want to get a few queens up at the front, and he's just going to do that. As spreading creep, really, that's what makes this map good for Zerg, is it's basically just one line of creep in which you need to extend to defend from main pushes. Until the Zerg play really either takes this gold base or takes this other potential fourth, they don't really need to worry about being attacked anywhere but this direct line, and that is very, very nice for Zerg players who like to be safe. Now, third CC on the way for Hero Marine. Now, Cyril is actually going to be aware of this. He actually scouts the Banshee too, so... Cyril playing with a lot of information. It's just whether he's going to let Hero Marine get away with this macro again, or if he'll maybe change route. And we're actually seeing a Spire on the way, and look at this. This is such a crafty Spire. Dropping the creep with that Overlord on top of the Spire there. Well, dropping it so the Spire can be built. No main base scans are going to detect it. And this is actually quite a quick Spire here. But honestly, that might not matter, as this Banshee's just going to start killing all his drones. Okay, so, and it may actually scout the Spire too here. Yep. Okay, Hero Marine's in a great spot. I mean, that's really all there is to it. 7 mutas on the way. Hero Marine, though, scouts the Spire. Missile turrets on the way. This Banshee started shooting the Spire once or twice. Yep, that's a Spire, he says. Okay, so... we now see Hero Marine possibly going to try and poke, maybe get a few drones right now, but Cyril's invested a lot into this. His third base is later than Hero Marine's right now. Missile turrets are just going to pop up for Hero Marine. He's just going to start keeping all his production safe. And now these 7 mutas are going to be tough to get anything done. Mutas always have value. They can always find an odd thing or two, but it can be very tough here. Banshee gets cleaned up, maybe got a drone or two there, but we see 1 or 2 SCVs getting picked off right now. The missile turret, a bit of room for Cyril to get some damage done right now. 7 SCVs so far, that's very nice. However, is it nice enough to make up for a third CC going unpunished right now? Hero Marine dropping mules, he's going to have this base that he can secure. Cyril just 7 mutas on the way, and then he's going to go back into droning. He's likely going to take a 4th base and try to secure this. As Hero Marine's in a good spot right now, ahead on workers right now. He's got that 3rd CC, he's got the mules, he's got the much quicker 1-1 this game. The upgrades have been close early on, but for now, they're certainly in Hero Marine's favor. So this is Hero Marine going greed, Cyril going aggression, and Hero Marine winning out. So this is sort of the trend in this series. It was sort of like that in the last game too. Right now we see Hero Marine, he's trying to deny these mutas getting anything done. Now, it's easy for a Terran player to fall apart when the mutas are poking at Cyril if he just keeps hitting every location that he can. Hero Marine's just going to be split with his multitasking, but Hero Marine is a very solid player, so as long as he can somewhat keep it together and not quite fall apart under the pressure of these mutalisks, then he'll really be fine. I mean, in that last game, he was going for a push and the mutas got on top of his production. He doesn't want that to happen again. And we're actually seeing Cyril go up to a very high muta count. So really it's going to be up to Hero Marine to try and get something done while not having these mutas snowball and cause him a world of pain right now. We see these Marines poking forward. Hero Marine, he's up on supply right now, and a large amount of Cyril's supply. He's actually building up a very high muta count once again, going into 14 right away. We'll see if he adds more and more and goes into that sort of mass muta play right now. But Hero Marine, as far as muscle goes, his army is stronger, so Cyril really needs to keep him back. And Hero Marine, though, he doesn't want this to happen. He's sort of just committed these Marines. They're likely going to stay here a long time to deal with these mutas. Cyril sees them. He's going to try and get something done, but there's actually a mine there. Rest in peace, Mutalisk. And this is where Hero Marine is going to be very scary for Cyril right now. He's pushing in. He's got these Hellbets. He's got a few mines in his army. He's going to deny creep, and a Zerg player can't really punish a Terran player who's cleaning up creep over here, as it's really quite a long wraparound, and the Terran player can be very safe. There's a lot of chokes too. Pushing in can be a bit difficult, but sort of pouncing on top of the Terran player is tough for Zergs right now, and these Mutalisk are just back at home. Cyril, he's got up a 4th base right now, but here Marine's happy on 3 bases. He's got 2-2 on the way. Cyril's not in sight yet. 2 Lings on the way for Cyril right now, so I guess that's his attitude, as he was a bit supply block there. We see, well, not supply block, but I guess supply max. Had to wait for an overlord or 2 to finish. Now we're seeing 24 Lings on the way right now. These Marines for Hero Marine, these Marines in the mine. This is actually so nice for Hero Marine. Other Terrans would try and move out with these Marines, maybe go for a drop, try and get some damage done, but no. If they did that, Cyril would be on top of them right now. So Hero Marine's doing a great job. This is a very high Mutalisk count, but this is enough Marines to sort of keep them back. They're moving in, they know that mine's there, but focusing it's not really possible with that refinery on top of it. Hero Marine's poking in once again, but his army is split, as he does have a significant amount at home, and this is actually quite a bit at home. Adding that to the main push would be very nice, as without all that muscle, I don't think Hero Marine is going to be able to push in. We see a lot of turrets, and this is actually an absurd amount of turrets, so this is maybe indicating that Hero Marine's going to go for a full-on push and just focus on rallying, and that's he's just throwing up a crazy amount of missile turrets not to have to worry about this. He's even got a Thor at his natural, a few Marines with it too. 1 Thor plus a few Marines can basically shut down unlimited Mutalisk right now. We see Hero Marine securing his 4th base. He's just going nuts on these turrets right now. Honestly, if he had an extra eBay, building armor would be very nice for all these turrets too, to sort of, it stops the Mutalisk being able to just shred through the turrets as easily. Another Thor on the way for Hero Marine. So this is going into sort of a situation which we haven't quite seen. Usually it's been one player has an economic edge, but both players are fairly even right now. Hero Marine's just going to go for a push, but Cyril's going to be very scared right now. He's up to 53 Banelings with another 70 on the way. Doing some math right there, that's going to be 70 Banelings. So, and how many Marines does Hero Marine have? So, 63 Marines, some Thors, some Banelings are going to be going up against 70 Banelings right now. A few of them detonated. Cyril, though, he's prepared for a massive sort of surround, but this is a large amount of Widow Mines right now. There's even drilling claws for these mines, I believe. Here, or Cyril's just going for it, though, but this is a large amount of mines, but all of them sort of were detonated prematurely. The 2 Thors are going to shoot at the mutas, but they're forced to evacuate. Hero Marine took the better fight there. These 2 Thors are trying to kill off some of the mutas right now, but there's really not too much else in that army. Hero Marine's just, he took a supply lead though. Now, Cyril destroyed that attack, it may look like, but really Cyril used 70 Banelings to deal with Hero Marine's entire army, and that's a very expensive thing to rebuild right now. So Cyril, he's just remaking things, making a few Banelings, but he's not going to have 70 likely. But that was a, he sort of got on top of that and shut it down, but the Thor survived, the Medivac survived, so Hero Marine just needs some more bio, and then he can begin pushing again. He actually had an upgrade advantage during that fight too. That's likely why it was quite a loss for Cyril. Now we see there's 1 Thor coming out of production. These mutas may be able to get right on top of it, and they do. Magic box coming out of Cyril. 1 or 2 of the mutas getting weak, and I believe 1 or 2 going down there. And now Hero Marine, he's pushing in. Killing creep from the back as it heads towards his main base right now. This is an absurd amount of creep right now, but he is going to clean it all up. That's very nice for Hero Marine. Resetting up these mines. I love the fact that he got drilling claws right now. It just makes repositioning the mines so much easier for Hero Marine. And now he's just pushing in. There's a large amount of Banelings for Cyril. Once again, 24. But Hero Marine is up on supply right now. He's got these mines, Thors, Marauders. He's heading in towards his 3-3. It's not quite there, but he is forced back right now. Cyril's pushing in. So Hero Marine might have overcommitted a little bit there, but overall he's just got a lot of units left still, and Cyril seems to be getting pushed back, and it looks like we may be going into a game 5 right now. Liberators have popped out. The Thors, they're weak, but all it takes is 1 or 2 volleys, and they effectively deal with the Mutalisk. And it seems that there may just have been too much for Hero Marine there, as he managed to poke in. Very well done by Hero Marine, and you know what that means? We're going into a game number 5. It's the first series. It seems that the sort of Afreeca curse may be broken today. And the final map of the series is actually going to have been Cyril's pick, which is Odyssey. Well, not really the last not really the last pick, it's just the last map as these players have gone through it. Now, Odyssey is quite a large map here, but it's not incredibly big. It's one of the newer maps, so we'll sort of see how it plays out. I believe it can honestly go either way. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I mean, it's Hero Marine versus Cyril. What else can you really ask for? Top European Terran going up against top European Zerg. Both players are ready. We're just sort of flying through this series, but it is a 5-man or a best of 5 here, so both of the it's quite a long series, even though we're sort of flying through these games one after the other. Now we're going to be getting on into this map here. Odyssey, it's one of the newer maps, so we're really going to see how it sort of plays out between these two. I mean, it's not sort of a standard Terran versus Zerg. We've seen these guys, but regardless, it's 2-2. Spawning up in the top left hand, you know him by now, Cyril. And spawning down the bottom right hand side of the map, the Terran player. Possibly not surprised, sort of not expected to be able to go toe to toe with Cyril, maybe, as Cyril's been hyped up a lot lately, but he's certainly doing it. It's Hero Marine. Now, Hero Marine won the 2 games in which he went CC first, and that's not something that you often see Terrans do, but he's found a way to sort of win a series, and he found a way to get wins versus Cyril. And that's by going greedy, as Cyril has just clearly been playing very well macro Hero Marine. He went for the 2-on-1, and then he went just for the standard other opening. And neither of them really worked out. It was just the macro that sort of brought Cyril down, as Hero Marine just played very well. He had very good control when it came to poking in versus Cyril. So we're going to see, as he's not going for a CC first. I don't think even Hero Marine would dare to go for something like a third CC first in a best of 5s, as that would just be uncommon in a Terran versus Zerg. I mean, we'll see what he goes for. We haven't really seen any heavy commitments to aggression out of either of these players. It's game 5. The winner moves on to the finals, so we'll sort of see how it goes right now. Hero Marine likely just going to be going for a quick CC here. Not the quickest, though. Not a CC first, that's for sure, but going for a Reaper. Meanwhile, Cyril, standard hatchery, so very standard macro between these guys.
Command center upgrade complete.
I have to forgive me having a drink of water there, as this is only series number 1. We're going to have 2 more series, one of them being another best of 5, and the winners of these best of 5s will face off in the finals in a best of 7. So lots of Starcraft going on today. Just a standard opening for Cyril. Cyril opening queens on the way. We'll likely see more of them being produced later on. We see this one link sort of pulling this Reaper out of position right now. Hero Marine wanting to sort of deny Cyril's attempts at map vision. CC gonna finish up for Hero Marine here. And it looks like Hero Marine's actually trying for a 2-on-1, and a 2-on-1 on this map may actually work out a bit better than the last one he went for, as there's lots of angles, there's lots of room for a Terran player to drop, there's lots of room for a Terran player to sort of come in as far as the bases go for the Zerg player. So we may see Hero Marine get some more damage done with this, but that one Ling actually went across the map, and now he's seen the reactor on the Marine, so he likely knows exactly what's going on. He saw the factory, and he can likely assume there's going to be a starport and a reactor following it up right now. So Hero Marine having his build scouted. Now Cyril, Zerg players are very good at knowing when a 2-on-1's coming. They're very good at preparing for it, so that's not necessarily going to ruin Hero Marine's day. But Cyril is going to know that he will need to prepare for a 2-on-1 right now. Here we see Cyril just spreading his creep once again. He's producing queens. Reaper moves in for Hero Marine, sees that there's no lair just yet, sees there's no Roachborn or Baneling nest. Now he really confirms there's no lairs. He sees the third base. That Reaper goes down, throws a grenade, and promptly gets picked off there. Really, the only units gone down in this game: one Reaper, the 2 Lings. So just these players going for vision. This is a great Terran versus Urgus. It's just macro. There's been really no aggression here. There's been no heavy attacks, just all-ins or anything like that. It's just these 2 players going at it once again, macroing up. Cyril sticking with this Bane style that he likes. He's getting up an Evo chamber, just 1 Evo chamber, so maybe we'll actually see a drop here for Cyril. It's possible. We haven't really seen too much aggression beside the Ling run-bys, but it's very possible. It may just be for a quick first upgrade. Could be for a Baneling drop or a run-by, as he knows the 2-on-1's on the way, and 2-on-1's is a very vulnerable build to counterattacks here. Ling's on the way for Cyril, so he knows he's going to need to prepare for this. He's got this watchtower, so Hero Marine is scouted right now, so Hero Marine's going to be limited in what he gets done. All these queens are here, all these Lings, so maybe he'll get a few creep tumors, maybe he'll shave off 1 or 2 Lings, but not too much is going to get done for Hero Marine right now. We now see 20 Lings on the way for Cyril, and that's actually quite a bit. He's already made 30, so he's going to be heading up to quite a large number of Lings right now. Hero Marine's going to lift off. He's going to get out of there. Cyril just playing it very safe right now. Resecuring that watchtower instantly after that Ling was killed off. And now Hero Marine's going to have to follow this up, and he's actually going for the quicker racks this time, so he's going to continue the aggression, but he's got a 3rd CC on the way. What am I talking about? Hero Marine's, of course, going to go for a 3rd CC. Now, he does have these Marines waiting, actually going to go for a drop into the main base. This creep tumor is going to see it. Don't think he made of it. I believe he actually just caught whiff of that with that creep tumor. The Cyril's moving into his main base. These Marines are going to move forward, maybe get a Ling or 2, but nope, he's going to be forced back right now. Here we're not really getting a single drone in this game so far. Just 9 Lings and an Overlord for his efforts with this drop. And that's why it's probably a good thing Hero Marine's macroing. 2-on-1 sort of into macro without getting really any damage isn't the greatest spot for a Terran player, but it's a much better spot since he is going into his upgrades, since he is transitioning. And it's also important to keep in mind that Cyril hasn't gotten an incredibly greedy 4th base just yet, anything like that. We actually see Hero Marine, he's going to try and abuse this spot looking at this. This is cute. That Reaper Cliff being used here by these Marines right now. We see Hero Marine's just poking, keeping Cyril busy. He's actually got a 2nd drop moving out right now, but that's not likely going to get too much done here. But Hero Marine actually gets a Queen with his 1st drop, but he almost loses that 1 Medivac. That was very, very close right there. Hero Marine, I think he's going to be done with that drop right now. Now, looking at this, Cyril's only just having his 1-1 finish right now. Hero Marine's got his 2-2 on the way, so he had a bit of an upgrade advantage for a second there, but Cyril is going to be going right into his 2-2. So Hero Marine just macroing. The players are fairly even right now. Oh, Cyril tried to drop creep and delay that base, but just a little bit off the mark there. So that 3rd CC landing, SCV's transferring right away. That's a bit of a shame for him that he didn't quite get that done. Baneling's on the way for Cyril, so he's going to start building up that count. We'll see if he makes 70 this game. We shall see. We now see Centrifugal Hooks on the way. So these Banelings are going to have Baneling speed. Hero Marine doing a good job with the map control this game. That 1 weekend Medivac is just heading home. Please get that home and repair that Hero Marine. We now see this Hive has finished. We've got Cyril transferring drones right now. He doesn't actually have a 4th base up just yet. He's getting up a macro hatchery, but no 4th base. Hero Marine's keeping Cyril a little bit busy. He's trying to get this gold base right now. That is a bit vulnerable to drops and things like that, but Cyril most likely will be on top of defending this, as he has been with most of his bases right now. But this is a bit of an angle for Hero Marine to attack. He may actually just deny this base right off the bat. He focuses down the Banelings. 1 or 2 of them gets good connections there, but I believe that was a worthwhile trade for Hero Marine. He's got a mine or 2 in this army, and now he's just going to kite back as he's off creep, and so he's able to engage this base. He needs to be careful as these more and more Banelings are finishing up it right now, but this may actually just be a crisp timing for Hero Marine. He's just shaving off these Banelings. They're rolling forward, connecting with a few Marines, but Hero Marine's doing a great job with this concave, abusing, and he's actually suddenly up 30 supply right now. He's killed off the 4th base, and he's just pushing in. Baneling's morphing in for Cyril, but I honestly am not sure if there's enough for him right now. It looks like Hero Marine Just taking a great fight right there. Cyril chose to expand to this gold base here. Marine pushed up. Amazing micro there by here. Marine just a perfect concave, not really getting any of those banelings to connect, and that's what has given Cyril a tough time in this series. Drilling Claws on the way for here. Marine sticking to that sort of fast Drilling Claws style that he went for in the past game. And it looks like here Marine in a very solid position to bring this series back. He's up 30 supply right now. Well, to bring it back from a 2-1 deficit. Here we see Mines are going to want to burrow. There's a lot of banlings, but here Marine great control. He's got an amazing Marine splits right now. He's just poking in. He's got a lot more bio that he's going to want to bring forward, and if he does, he's got to drop into the main base as well. Banelings rolling forward. Oh, Widowmine, though, gets a connection, kills off a few banelings. Meanwhile, here Marine, he's killing off creep right now, rallying the rest of these units forward, and with this push, I'm not sure Cyril's going to be able to hang on. Disrupt, unloading, canceling the 4th base. Well, another attempt at an expansion. Cyril's got this gold base starting up once again, but I'm not sure he's going to get to use it in this series right now. Thor's on the way for Hero Marine, +3 attack on the way. Both players are at 2-2, but a Terran player with all this bio, mines, medivacs, it's going to be very tough for Cyril to engage this. He's got a few Hydras in this army right now, but this is a lot for Hero Marine. Hero Marine's pulling back, the Baneling's rolling forward. He's doing a great job splitting a few decent Baneling connections there, so Hero Marine does need to be careful right now. He's pulling back, though. The Hydras are very good at shredding the pre-split bio there, so that is very nice for him, but Hero Marine is still just absorbing these Baneling hits right now. He's up 30 supply still right now. He's pushing in. He's getting armor, so these medivacs will be even tougher. Those mines will be tougher. The tanks will be tougher with that vehicle armor there. We now see +3 attack, +3 armor just starting for Hero Marine. The 4th base is going to be able to float over to a location that he chooses. He's rallying more bio. Now, Hydras are very good. They got their health buff, so they sort of have the legs to stand versus bio right now, and mines are not the greatest versus them, but Cyril is still just mainly relying on these lings, on these banelings. The Hydras are just there to sort of supplement this army. And now we see Hero Marine is moving in. He's shredding drones here. Cyril's economy is not the greatest right now. Cyril's rolling Baneling Sword. Hero Marine great splits right now, but it seems that the space may be forfeited once again. Cyril's trying to take the fight, but he may just not have enough. A few Banelings rolling forward, getting decent connections. The Widowmine's not quite detonating and getting that friendly fire that Cyril wants, but it seems that this army is forced back, but the losses have been pretty huge for Cyril. He's really just got these Hydras and Queens right now. No Banelings for Cyril right now, and the next push for Hero Marine could potentially be fatal here. It's Hero Marine. He's worked his supply lead up to 40 now. He's securing a 4th base. Cyril's got this 4th base, so he is mining at the gold. That's going to give him an income boost here, but Hero Marine's securing his own 4th right now. He's going to be able to transfer all these workers. He's got his 3-3 on the way. No sign of Hive or 3-3 on the way for Cyril just yet, as he's just been pressured this entire game. Cyril going for a counterattack right now. This could potentially be what he needs to get back in this game, but Hero Marine just, with this rally, once again, going to shut this down completely. And meanwhile, Hero Marine's pushing up towards this gold base. Once again, if he gets this gold base, he pretty much gets the game right now. Tanks are in here. Tanks are amazing versus Hydras right now. Hero Marine transitioning, and GG gets called as Hero Marine takes it with the 3-2 versus Cyril, taking down the victory of WCS Challenger. So very well done by Cyril there. So we're actually just going to likely have a short break here. We'll be getting into the next series, so make sure you guys stick around, as very well played by Hero Marine there, but make sure you guys stick around, as we're going to have a Protoss versus Zerg upcoming. 2 other great players going at it. Hero, it's going to be Petit Drogo versus Elazer, the Elazer being the previous Afreeca World Champion. And we're going to see how Petit Drogo does. So we'll be back. Just gonna have a short break here, and then we'll get right back into it. Alright, so thanks for waiting, guys. We're gonna be getting on into the second series of the day. It's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg. Petit Drogo versus Elazer here, the current champion. Petit Drogo, first time in Afreeca World, so we're going to see how he does. Both players are ready, so we're going to be jumping right on into it. The first map is going to be Proxima Station, so thanks for sticking around. This has it's been the first Afreeca World with a Petit Drogo in, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. So we're going to be getting right on into the game here. So another best of 5 on the way right now. Currently 0-0, spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the game. It is a laser, the previous Afreeca World champion.
Paused.
Alright, so Petit Drogo, I guess, has to close his blinds. They're not the end of the world. Wants to be playing in good conditions, I guess. It's pretty hard to play Starcraft with a lot of glare on your screen. So I hope you guys are enjoying the tournament here. A lot of great games on the way, and there certainly should be a lot more as the winner of this series goes on to face Hero Marine to see who will become the next Afreeca World Invitational champion. Maybe a laser decided to close his blinds too. Alrighty, so we're getting right back into it here. I mean, I hadn't even done the intros yet, but spawning down the bottom left-hand side, playing for Team My Insanity, it is Petit Drogo. One of the top Protoss, making a name for himself really in Legacy of the Void. Towards the end of the Heart of the Swarm, he sort of rose out of the scene. Had an early Legacy of the Void tournament result, so that's sort of what established him as a top Protoss here. So these two players, we're going to sort of see how... Oh god, what did I press? The camera's tilted the wrong way. Okay, hang on, it's stuck. I might have a stuck key or something. I'm actually not sure what caused this. Oh dear. Okay, you guys are gonna have to forgive me here as I try to fix this. I must have accidentally held something down while I spun the camera, now it's stuck that way. Okay, this is great quality production here. You'll have to forgive me while I try and figure this out. How... My keyboard has an issue getting keys stuck, so... No, that's not it. Okay, this is terrible production quality. It's just stuck like this. That's not what we want here. Okay, I'm gonna have to open options here. You're gonna have to forgive me. Okay. I am honestly not sure what is causing this. Okay, this is actually not great. I'm honestly sorry about this. Well. Maybe we'll have to observe it from a side view. I'm really sorry about this, guys. What did I possibly accidentally press that caused this? There's nothing about it there. Oh, hang on. Okay, there we go. That fixed it. Okay. You'll have to forgive me for that one, guys. Despite doing a few of these invitationals, I'm still not great with all the hotkeys, and while spinning the cameras, it somehow got stuck that way. So we got through it, though, just missing the bit of the early game there, and we're seeing sort of a standard opening from these players here. Drogo opening up this series in his first Afreeca World with a Robo and Twilight Council, so we'll possibly see, and a DT drop is actually going to be the choice. I was thinking possibly a bit of Adept Harassment, but he wasn't researching anything there. Meanwhile, a laser opting for just a standard macro build, it looks like. So here we are. We're just going to see this Archon drop, most likely going to be coming out of Drogo here. He's opted for a 4th gateway here. This is sort of, I guess, where his build is changing a little bit. A lot of pros, as far as I'm aware, warping the 3 DTs because they only have the 3 gates. So I guess Drogo going to be wanting to hit with that double Archon right away. Getting up his gas is a little bit late for a Protoss player. Getting up his natural gases here. Prism coming out, so there's going to be all these DTs. However, a laser is preparing right now. Getting out a Roachhorn, getting out Spore Crawlers, so the DT shouldn't be a threat. He's got his lair on the way, so assuming that no Spore Crawlers sniped or anything like that, he should be completely fine. Third base likely going to be set up for Petit Drogo, following this up right now. Warp Prism moving out. It's going to be scouted by an Overlord though, so that's unfortunate. And we're going to see how Drogo follows this up, as Archon drops can always get some damage done. However, they've been figured out a lot at first when they first came out here. They were... When Archon drops first came out, they were always getting damage done. The Protoss players with great control were finding room, but then the Zerg sort of got used to it. They sort of figured it out in the meta. And now they're a bit more prepared for it. This Creep Tumor getting sort of killed off there, but these Archons are going to waddle in. The 3 Queens, though, this Warp Prism does need to be very careful right now. Archon's trying to get right on top of the Queens. This Warp Prism being very dangerous, flying right in front of them. However, it's getting damage done right there. One of the Archons losing a bit of shield. However, they do regenerate their shield right now. There's only 1 or 2 roaches at this base, so we may be able to focus 1 or 2 of them down. Great micro from Petit Drogo, but also from a laser so far. Only 3 lings and a queen lost so far. Petit Drogo's already got this robo up. He's getting up a forge, so he's going to be transitioning right now, but we're going to see what he goes into. He is just getting up these sentries. He's getting out an immortal, so it could possibly be maybe something like a Glaive's immortal sentry attack, but so far nothing major right now. This Prism's still flying around, sharking, trying to get anything. Gonna try and kill off this Overlord here. There is speed for it, but it will go down. A laser, though, he knows that he's not going to take too much damage from this transitioning, getting his 1-1 on the way. Infestation Pit just finishing up right now, so he's going to be able to go into a very fast hive if he chooses, or it could be for infestors. We'll really have to see. So here we are, we've got these roaches. The laser looking to secure his 4th base right now. 7 swarm hosts on the way. Okay, so these things, these swarm hosts, have sort of been becoming more and more common in the game of Starcraft lately. They were very popular in Heart of the Swarm. If you're from back around then, you obviously know the whole swarm host mech turtle fest that was Heart of the Swarm, which I personally love, but that's just me. But now they're sort of coming back with a different role. It's taken a while, but they sort of found their use. They can start to snipe buildings, go for wave attacks, I guess. They can be used in defense. Whatever the Protoss player really wants. But on a map like Proxima, they can always run up here and just bombard the main base over and over and over and over. This Warp Prism came back at home. Drogo's moving out once again, though, possibly going to try and get some new harass, but he actually is going to see these swarm hosts with this observer. That's huge. This Prism could actually potentially pick off 1 or 2 of these swarm hosts here, as 1 or 2 of them is going to go down on the Archons, but it looks like Drogo's done a good job holding this off. He hasn't lost anything to these locusts. More of them being dropped right now, though. The sentry's trying to be very safe. The Archon sniping them down. Doesn't want to lose any units to these swarm hosts, as it can be very wasteful. And now we see a laser's invested a fair bit into this. A lot of his supply. How many does he have? He's actually made 16 swarm hosts. Okay, so maybe he's just going to try and batter Petit Drogo down over and over and over again. So here we are. We see these swarm hosts poking in. Now this is actually a lot. 6 or 7 swarm hosts, not too big of a deal, but a wave from 16 in total can sort of just knock anything down. The Archon shred through them very quickly. However, this is still should be a good fight for a laser right now. We see these Archons, they're getting on top of this army. Petit Drogo unloading the weak Archons, but they die pretty quickly. He's trying to save as many as he can. These Immortals are trying to fight, but these swarm hosts are going to have another wave pretty soon here. Now Petit Drogo's in a bit of a rough situation. Army supply certainly in a laser's favor right now, as Maybe Laser's thinking, hey, I smashed through the first Afreeca world I was in. Maybe it's time to go through the next one here. Swarm hosts are going to be finishing up. They're going to have another wave coming out right now. They're going to fire their Locust there. Petit Drogo maybe just going to try and avoid the problem, but I don't think his Nexus is going to be able to avoid the problem as these Locusts dive on in right now. Here we see this Immortal trying to push in all these units for Petit Drogo, trying to get in there, but it seems that he may just have been surrounded. There's too many roaches here for a laser. It looks like these Immortals, they're shooting the Swarm Host. Yes, killing them off is important, but if he loses the army fight versus the roaches, it doesn't matter. These charge lots moving in for Petit Drogo, is that sort of his tech of choice. He's doing a great job microing with this Prism, warping in more Zealots here to try and tank, but it looks like the Prism may go down. No, he does a good job saving it, and he's actually kept all these Immortals alive. So while he's doing a good job, he's actually possibly going to lose this Nexus up at the front. And there's plenty of roaches that have come out for a laser right now. The laser's got 1,500 minerals. He basically just needs to spam that R button. We're going to see if he'll be able to hold on. And I think it's most likely, and with that sort of may just be a bit of a checkmate right now. The fourth base gone down. Petit Drogo can warp in Zealots, but Zealots are probably the worst unit in the game versus Swarm Host. They're just sort of forced to awkwardly run around as the laser decides to target this Nexus, and it may actually go down. That's actually would be a dramatic loss and basically certainly the end of the game right now. And now it's just these sort of Zealots, this Mothership Corps trying to do its best to whittle away at these units right now, but this could really just be checkmate right now. We see Petit Drogo warping in a massive amount of Templar, 4 Archons on the way. That may be enough to sort of buy him some time, but really he's in a tough spot right now. It's these Archons Photon Overcharge trying to hang on, but 2 of the Archons are biled down basically immediately right now. More Swarm Hosts warping in. GG gets called. The laser takes the first game in this series. So we just went through the first game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now we're just going to get right on into the second as we're flying through that game. A laser sort of just smashed what Petit Drogo went for. So the second map is going to be Sequencer here between these two guys. We're going to get right on into it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Even if this series is potentially a quick one, and a laser tried to make his last series very quick in the Afreeca world, his last run, but we'll see if Drogo puts up more of a fight here. Thank you for the stars earlier, by the way, Syrian. It's appreciated. Alrighty. Both players are ready, so we're going to be getting on into the next game. That first game was a bit of a quick one. But we'll see if Drogo can bring it back, and he's certainly a great player, so we'll see. I mean, series can certainly go either way. Now, the second map is going to be Sequencer. For those of you unaware, Sequencer is this absolutely massive thing, which Blizzard calls a 2-player map here. It's basically the size of some 4-player maps. A laser is currently up 1-0, spawning up the top right-hand side. The previous Afreeca World Champion. And now his opponent spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is Petit Drogo playing for Team My Insanity. So now, the last game was a little bit rough. A laser sort of just bopped the attack Petit Drogo went for. Maybe Petit Drogo wasn't aware or didn't expect Swarm Host to come out to sort of just shut down the attack, well, the sort of harassment and attack that he went for. And now we're seeing Petit Drogo setting up to what looks like it's going to be a very quick expansion here. Not a Nexus first or anything like that. Meanwhile, a Laser is going for a fast hatchery here. Well, just a standard Zerg hatchery, I guess. But so standard builds coming out of these guys. Petit Drogo opting to wall on the low ground so he doesn't really have to worry about staying safe later on. He's just going to want to complete that wall. And now he's actually moving out with this probe scout here, so he wants to make sure there's no crazy aggression coming out. He's going to see the hatch timings and really know what's up. Petit Drogo's moving in right now. He really knows everything that's going on. He's throwing up the Nexus. He's going to throw up his Cyber Core, and it's going to be a very standard opening. So we're going to see how this game deviates compared to the last one. I hope you guys are sort of enjoying this for sure. We've got a lot more games coming up. But right now we're going to focus on the one we currently have. Standard openings from these guys though so far. Petit Drogo's just harassing, trying to deny. Or it's more, the sort of whole probe stopping the workers from mining thing. It does a bit of economic damage, but really it's more to tilt your opponent, make sure they're paying attention, and they're going to micro those drones to make sure they're mining efficiently. Petit Drogo eventually steals some minerals and it's going to run out. Doesn't want to lose that probe to the links easily. He may be pursued though here by these two lings that are going to pop out. That could make it a little bit rough. He's turning the probe and running away. This one adept is coming out. It may be able to save the probe, as it sort of, Zerglings chasing a probe sort of takes years for them to eventually catch it. So we'll see. A Laser eventually gives up right now. He's just going to throw up his fast third hatchery. Most likely just starts squeezing out drones. And now Petit Drogo's already choosing a different opening than the previous game. Those Archon drops didn't work, so like a good player, he's changing up his build. He's going for a Stargate instead. And on a map like this, this here, it's certainly a map in which the Protoss player can transition into late game, that sort of Stargate carrier tech, which is very popular. So we'll see if that's sort of what Petit Drogo angles for. Maybe he'll just opt to go for Phoenix and then eventually into a timing attack, but really we'll have to see. For now though, it's just going to be an Oracle popping out of this Stargate. We'll see how many he follows it up with or how he transitions. Now, Petit Drogo can secure a fairly quick third base on this map, and this is one of the things that makes this map interesting. There's the extra easy to secure third base. However, it's only got 5 mineral patches and 1 gas, so it's not the greatest return on your investment when there's this other base right here, which has the standard Nexus here, and it looks like Drogo's likely going to try and secure that one instead. We don't see too many pros secure this one, as far as I'm aware. Here we see this Stargate's coming out here. So here we see just Oracle, Stasis, Harassment getting off of that, actually freezing some of those Zerglings. They're not going to come out for a little while here. Freezing the larva, I wasn't even aware you could freeze the larva, but Drogo not really getting any kills with that Oracle, just opting for that Stasis Harassment here. Meanwhile, you followed it up with a Phoenix here just to kill off Overlords, as there's so many places on a map like this in which if a Zerg's greedy, they will spread out their Overlords. But now we see Adepts coming out here. Six Adepts for Drogo, possibly going to try and poke in. There's no upgrades on these Adepts, really. There's no Resonating Glaives for them right now. We see this Oracle's coming in, but 6 slow Adepts is a bit of an odd choice. The Oracle goes down, the Adepts shade out there. So not the greatest trade there for Petit Drogo. Didn't really get any harassment done. A Laser was prepared, but Petit Drogo's followed this up with a very quick third Nexus. Not absurdly quick, but a decently quick third Nexus. He's going to have his +1 attack on the way, a Warp Prism on the way, as he's got up a Robo right now. So he's going to be able to transition if he chooses. A Laser is aware of this third base, I believe. Yes, he is, so players pretty much have each other figured out right now. Now it looks like, though, a Laser may be going for a bit of harassment right now with these Lings. Maybe going to try and go for a run by or two. Petit Drogo has a... Actually, that Zealot's not quite in position for the wall, and it actually runs through. Okay, that's a world of hurt for Petit Drogo. These Lings are going to get into the natural right now. Adepts are warping in, but now the Lings are going to head into the main. This is a lot of trouble for Petit Drogo. The Laser went for a move, and that Zealot was out of position, and GG gets called. Okay, Laser is just trying to run through here. Taking the first series there. Well, taking the first 2 games here. So we're going to see if he can make it another 3-0. Maybe a Laser's trying to make an Afreeca World trend here. The next map is going to be Ascension to Ire here. I'm going to see if Petit Drogo can bring it back. Okay, just going to get up this lobby, and then we should get right on into it. Regardless, if this series is a quick one, we're going to have a best of 7, which can't possibly be as quick, which is going to be the winner of this series versus Hero Marine. Okay, apparently Petit Drogo's bugging here. I'm also going to kick my PC. My PC has a tend to make a bit of an odd vibrating noise, but only when I'm broadcasting. It's probably an overheating thing or something, but you know, fixing issues like that takes time. Okay, so Petit Drogo is going to have to restart his Starcraft here. Meanwhile, at that time, I shall update the status. Alrighty, so we're just trying to get this lobby set up so that we can get into the next game. But you know, if you're familiar with StarCraft, there's all sorts of lobby bugs throughout the years. Alrighty, so we're just trying to sort out the lobbies, having a few issues here. But I think we should finally be good here. Alright. That's enough sitting around waiting. We're finally going to get into game number 3 here. And now we're going to have to see if Petit Drogo can actually bring back the series right now. I love how he's actually using his own portrait from the BlizzCon thing. So, here we are. We've got this best of 5, but a Laser is currently up 2-0, so it's going to be a bit of a climb for Petit Drogo to get back into the game right now. Spawning down the bottom right-hand side. We'll see if he can do it. And now, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is a Laser, the previous Afreeca World Champion. Currently trying to get back into another finals of the tournament here. And I believe the camera just bugged out again. Okay, thank God I figured out how to fix that bug. So we see Petit Drogo going for a similar wall off on the low ground right now. The map, Ascension to Ire, has a very narrow choke point, so that's certainly an option for the Protoss player. Meanwhile, Laser looks like it's just going to be a standard hatch again. The last 2 games worked out well for him. Just sort of reacting to what Petit Drogo went for and going for it. So here we have Laser, just standard expansion, followed up by the pooled and the gas Petit Drogo, Gateway expand, followed up by a cybernetics core. So nothing, no really deviations from these player builds. The only note is that Petit Drogo's only mining out of 2 of his gas, well, with 2 probes and gas right now, so not really rushing any tech. Oh, actually oversaturating there a little bit. Gonna want to pull one of those out. I guess he just rallied that probe back at home to there. Okay, there we go. Now what's he gonna do with that probe? Start a pylon's my bet. Yep. Okay, so just very standard openings from these players. There's not too much to talk about so far. A Laser has just sort of stuck with these lings. He's reacted to whatever aggression Petit Drogo has went for. In that last game, it worked very well for him. Reacted to the Stargate. Speed on the way for a Laser, so just going to be heading into those lings once again for that map control. He's going to move in with this Overlord, possibly see the gateway at the front. He'll likely run that Overlord to one of those pedestals where it can just sit happily. And this Adept moving out for Petit Drogo, going to want to get some scouting here. And now we see a Laser who's moving in with this Overlord, so he's going to know what's going on, which isn't too much. It's just the Twilight Council so far, so we'll see if it's going to be that Archon drop, DTs, or maybe Adepts. We'll see if it's going to be a quick resonating Glaives this time as opposed to that Dark Shrine Robo play. As didn't necessarily work out for Petit Drogo that time, but wanted out, make a lot of Adepts, so we'll see if he can bring back the series that way, or whether he will try that Archon drop once again. Actually getting in with this Adept, killing off a few lings there and 2 drones. May get out with this Adept, just barely. No, it actually goes down, but 2 drones, 2 Zerglings for 1 Adept is a decent trade. Mess with a Laser at this early game is losing 2 drones is pretty nice. And now we're going to see Petit Drogo's going to give another whirl at it. He's going to try and get out this Dark Shrine, going to be going for those Archons and DTs once again. So Petit Drogo is sort of just doing the same as that first game. Didn't quite work out. We'll see. Swarm Hosts are certainly not as good on this map, to my knowledge. At least we actually haven't seen too much on this map, but just looking at it, it doesn't look like it would be quite as... there's a lot of ledges, though, so maybe they are. I mean, we'll have to see how a Laser reacts. Swarm Hosts are not really the most common reaction for builds like this. Maybe a Laser's just going to give it another try, though. Roach-Warren Spore Crawler's on the way, so no danger for a Laser, really. This Warp Prism's moving out. Okay, and I'm just going to follow that Warp Prism while I have another drink. We've got another best of 7 after this. So we're going to see what Petit Drogo can get done with this drop once again. We're going to possibly kill off an Overlord, and he does actually supply blocking a Laser. A few Roaches on the way, so maybe not being able to produce as many Roaches as he liked as a Laser, as he is supply blocked right now. But still not really too much room for Petit Drogo. Now, a Laser has only just seen these Zealots being warped in right now, but we're seeing what I believe was a possible... Nope. Just another poke coming in here. This is interesting for Petit Drogo. We don't usually see something like this. It's actually the Archons and the Zealots. The Zealots going to give a lot more tanking and damage to this. And now suddenly the Archons can actually engage these Roaches, which are made to defend against an attack like this. All those roaches in the red here, so Petit Drogo going to be able to pick him off. And he's actually killing off a few drones there with DTs that he got into the main. He made a second prism. And he's actually going to kill off the main base Spore Crawler. All the units were busy dealing with those Zealots, and that's just GG. I didn't think that Petit Drogo was going to get too much done, but that little tweak worked out. Very well done, and we're going to be getting on into the next game. Looks like we got quite a few Hero Marine fans in the chat here. He'll certainly be playing again. Alright, so we're going to be getting the lobby. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Lots of good Starcraft. Alrighty. So we're going to be getting on in. Now, suddenly this has become a series. This has just been swift moves. These two players just, we'll see if it continues to go back and forth. Alright, so we're just going to have a bit of a short break here, and then, well, not like a break, just one of the players is to get ready here. All the players obviously want to be comfortable when they're playing right now. But it was looking, honestly, like Petit Drogo was going to get a bit bopped, and that would have been an unfortunate trend as the last Protoss sort of got bopped by a laser here. Alrighty, so both players are ready, and we're going to be getting on into the game right now. So we were on match point last game, but Petit Drogo managed to hang on, and we'll see if he can tie it up and bring us to a game number 5. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, Odyssey. It is Petit Drogo playing for Team My Insanity. And you know him already. He's won the last Afreeca World. We'll see if he can win this one. It's going to be a laser. So once again with that low ground wall off, Petit Drogo liking that sort of quick Nexus play into whatever tech it seems. Meanwhile, Laser every game has just gone for the standard hatchery expand. No early pool or anything like that. But looking at this, Laser's changing it up right now, gas into pool. But Petit Drogo is scouting though, so Laser doesn't so he really shouldn't have to worry too much about this. He'll identify this, likely throw up another gateway. Now the question is if he'll throw up his Nexus. I believe he won't have enough for his Nexus, so he will actually likely be able to complete his wall before he finishes this. So a Laser not likely going to get too much done with this early pool, as Petit Drogo has scouted it. He knows what's going to be coming in. He's going to be able to see all these lings and things. We now see Petit Drogo gonna want to get his wall up as quick as he can. Cybernetics core actually used on this side, so we'll see how he decides to complete the wall. Maybe with a forge or some sort of tech, as I'm not 100% positive, as I myself am not a Protoss player, so I'm not sure of the exact timing in which you need to sort of throw up another building to be safe from any Zerglings, but it takes a while to get across the map. Like this probe is going to see one of the lings. He's going to see that there's not tons of lings coming out of a laser here, so it's just going to be a slow poke. So Petit Drogo is going to be feeling very confident here, just going to wait on his Adept here. Chrono that out and then not have to worry about any of the lings right now. So a good start for Petit Drogo, going to be trying to bring it back. A laser with the later hatchery as a result of this. He's got the queen, so he'll have a bit of larva to try and catch up on this. But he's sort of just a bit behind here as far as it goes. But it's not the end of the world. It's not a great position, but obviously not a terrible one. Petit Drogo going to kill off one of those lings with this Adept. Going to have a bit of poking room now, as Laser's just going to want to focus on getting all of his drones out once again. Right now we see this Stargate once again. Stargate worked out and it actually didn't work out. He opened up... okay, so the Stargate didn't work out in game number 2. But he had sort of an interesting idea. It was just a bit of unfortunate. We didn't really see how that game devolved. Or evolved, I guess, as it just became... Laser going for a ling run by and winning the game. So we'll see how this game goes. Third base is up. Adept for Petit Drogo has come back home. He's actually got 2 Adepts out right now, so maybe going to poke out with a few more. Yeah, so just these 2 Adepts are going to move out. Following it up with the Twilight Council. So Stargate into Twilight Council. So we'll possibly see if it's going to be the sort of Oracle Adept timing. This has been a bit of a common build as far as I'm aware. You see these 2 Adepts are heading towards where the third base would be. The Laser doesn't have the watchtower here, so he's actually not aware of these. So maybe these Adepts will hang out, wait for a drone transfer to potentially come in. Okay, now this is interesting. So there's the Oracle and then followed up by a Phoenix like the last game. So it may just be this one Oracle play for Petit Drogo into this Stargate, into this Phoenix just to deal with Overwatch right now. We actually see these 2 Adepts are coming in right now. Losing a bit of shields, but actually getting 2 drones there, so worth his while there. And in this game, there's currently been 2 drones and 2 Zerglings killed. That's it. We see this one Phoenix is doing its job of pushing away these Overlords right now. Very nice. Laser being supply blocked there for a second. Overlord is going to have to finish up. So that's very nice for Petit Drogo, just getting these Overlords. A Laser does have the speed, though, so he's going to be able to pull these back quickly if he chooses. And now we see this Oracle. No kills yet, so I believe he'll most likely stasis some workers, or tried to when I wasn't looking there. We now see 6 Adepts once again coming in for this bit of a poke, but I believe a Laser's much less prepared for this. He doesn't have much going on for him right now. There's just 2 Adepts that are revealed right now. A Laser pulls back. He produces 16 lings right now. It might have been better for Drogo to shade on into the natural, or into the third base if he was going to commit for now. But looking at this, that Oracle gets a very nice stasis on those drones. I believe there's, what, 5? A bunch of larvae the Queen caught. So that's very nice. Pulling back with these Adepts. So maybe just sort of feigning pressure until he has a Warp Prism, until he has Resonating Glaives. Then we'll see if Petit Drogo goes for a much stronger attack. And I think he most likely will, as there's no Forge on the way. There's no real transition for him. And suddenly, this is a lot of Adepts which are going to be moving out on the map. Mothership Core to deal with these Zerglings here. They're forced back. 1 Photon Overcharge will do the job there. And now a Laser's warping and Banelings. He's going to have his +1, which is actually very nice for defending Resonating Glaives Adepts. It gives the Lings sort of the potential to actually deal with them, whereas without it, they're not too great. Now, there's 4 Banelings out already. More are morphing in, but these Adepts are just going to shade in. However, there's these 4 Banelings. A decent split by Petit Drogo, sort of keeping them safe. That might have been a bit over-eager for him. +1 has finished up, so a lot of these Adepts are going to go down. And it seems that a Laser may have just destroyed this push right now. And suddenly, looking at this, we're seeing 2 drop rewards started for a Laser, so it may actually be a bit of a Queen into Ling all in here. That one Phoenix trying to get an Overlord but being shooed away. I'm not sure if he scouted these drop rewards, but a Laser just killer's instinct right now. Gonna try and counterattack. Possibly gonna load up that last Queen. No, it's gonna be left behind. How many Queens is... Okay, there's Banelings and then there's Queens in there. That one Queen, it's not gonna make it in. Okay, so now this is how we're going to see Laser try and end this game right now. Petit Drogo most likely going to be busy with transition here. He's getting out a Warp Prism. He's got 8 gateways, but this is a large amount of lings here. Is going to be a scary counterattack, and the wall is open. The Zerglings are going to run in once again, unpowered 3 of these gateways right now. Another pylon goes up to try and save them, but all these probes are going to be forfeit right now. The Adepts are coming back into the main base to force fields goes down. Actually, an amazing donut there locks all those lings, and however, there's some lings into the main base. Adepts warping in, so while this is a terrible situation for Petit Drogo, he's handling it decently right now. However, his third base is being dropped by these queens, by these banelings, and a crazy amount of probes are going to go down there. 38 probes have fallen, 25 remaining, 40 drones are on the table for a laser right now, but he's getting up a 4th base as well. These queens are going to go down. Yes, most of this army is going to go down, but lings are still in the main base. Adepts will finally clean them up. Army supply is equal, but Petit Drogo lost 40 probes. If he hadn't lost that many, he would have been in a great situation, but lings can still be flooded for a laser, and it looks like he may just be content to do that. These 2 gateways still unpowered right now. Not that Petit Drogo can afford that. Not that Petit Drogo can afford to clean them up right now. We see these queens are finally going to go down as this Phoenix is going to do its job. Actually trying to keep this alive. He could have transfused that over and maybe kept it going a bit longer, but they do go down. But it's a bit odd how close they are on supply, but a laser has a lair. He's got a 4th base. He's got that +1 armor. I mean, +1 weapons. So Petit Drogo is going to counterattack. He's got a Revelation. He's going to use it on those lings. He's got this Oracle, which could actually be used. So it's possible that with all those queens going down, a laser may be in a decent spot. Petit Drogo actually warping in some Adepts and Zealots to deal with this ling counterattack. So that actually may be enough to deal with this right now. Meanwhile, he's going for an attack, and the laser's quite busy. He's warping in banelings right now, but that's only 3 banelings. If Petit Drogo avoids those heavy connections, he can get some crazy counterattack damage done, and actually an amazing stasis, catching, what, 20 lings there or so. And now a few baneling connections get on top of those Adepts there. These Adepts are being cleaned up. 17 probes go down at home for Petit Drogo, so he's actually down to 16. So while he got 13 of his own on a laser side of the map, he's sort of now fallen between a critical mass of probes. That one stasis doesn't quite get the connection Petit Drogo needs. GG gets called. A laser takes the series 3-1 versus Petit Drogo, and now that means that we're going to be getting on into the grand finals, which should be another great Terran versus Zerg here. It's going to be a laser. It's going to be a laser versus Hero Marine here, so we're going to be getting on into that as soon as we can. We're just going to have a short break here, and I shall see you guys then. This should be a great series upcoming, so make sure to stay tuned in, and I'll see you then. Alright, so we're just going to be getting right on into the finals here. It's going to be a best of 7 Terran versus Zerg. The last one, Hero Marine, was pretty close versus a laser. Alright, so both players are going to be getting right on up. Let me just edit the status here. Alrighty, both players are ready, so we're going to be getting right on into it. There's no point waiting anymore. So I hope you guys have stuck around. We're going to be getting right on into the finals here. A Terran versus Zerg here between 2 top Europeans. Hope you guys are having a good day, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to this as much as I am. Spawning up in the top right hand side of the map, it is a laser. And spawning down the bottom left-hand side. There's going to be at least 4 games between these guys. The Red Terran playing for Mouse Esports. It is Hero Marine. So we're going to see how this series sort of plays out. We saw Hero Marine take his first 2 games versus Cyril. Well, the first 2 games that he managed to take versus Cyril were CC first games, and then the last one he just managed to bring it home here against Cyril's Quick Mutas. So we're going to see how we'll play it out versus Laser. Laser, a different Zerg, a different beast. Some styles may be similar, but you can't really assume that as a pro. So we'll see how Hero Marine goes ahead and deals with this. But fairly standard openings from both of these guys. There's not really too much to talk about. I mean, this is what, the 6th Terran versus Zerg standard opening we've seen today. Anyway, here we have these Overlords. Just for a Laser moving in. Possibly going to see what Hero Marine's up to. But Hero Marine just sticking with his tried and true CC after Reaper. So we'll see. He just, if he follows trend, this may be a 2-1-1, or it could just be Hellions here into that sort of Banshee play that he went for. And it looks like that may be sort of the choice, so it's not going to be a 2-1-1. Ling's coming out for a Laser, as he does have to defend from this Reaper, as it will poke the front a bit, but as it is a fairly close opening, it's not likely that it's going to really see or do too much. It's more just a safety Reaper, I guess, for Hero Marine at this point. Wanting to play it safe in the first game right now. Reactor on the way. A Laser scouting this as he saw the Reaper, so he knows that there's no Marines to really threaten him right now. Inject going down onto these hatcheries. Not too much to talk about right now. These Lings being a little bit bruised by this Reaper. Laser producing more queens, so gonna want to spread his creep out like all Zerg players on this map, as it's a very effective way to do it just by taking this outer base. Hellions on the way for Hero Marine. He is going to be going into that sort of starport. I'm curious if a Laser watched the series at all versus Cyril. I don't think it's too likely, honestly, but maybe he caught one of the last games right now. Hellions on the way here. Reaper trying to poke and prod, see what's going on. Lair, very fast Lair on the way for Laser here, and he's actually going for a Roach Warren, so this may smell a bit like a Nidus play here. Yeah, and it certainly is going to be a Nidus right now. So, versus Hero Marine, a player like Hero Marine, this is a very, very nice move here for a Laser, and this is actually possibly the worst build that Hero Marine could have gone for. Versus this, no Banshees. Just had no cloak on his Banshees. He actually opted to make a Medivac with the Tech Lab. Just Hellions, no reactors, anything like that. He's going to be going for a Stim after this, I believe it. So, very bare bones build here for Hero Marine. And a Nidus like this with 7 Roaches coming out, this could honestly just end the game. This could just ruin his day. We may see a bit of a Hellion counter run by here. However, a Laser, he's going to be producing units non-stop. I don't believe Hero Marine has scouted this. He's going to see the Overlord, and he can just see the vision of it. But he may not be paying attention to it. He sees it just on his mini-map, but is Hero Marine going to react? That Nidus Sand's coming out. We see this one Raven is on the way, but that's really the only tool he has. Hero Marine trying to get some counter damage done on all these drones right now. He's killed 10. However, if his main base is compromised, it's going to be hard to counter this. These Hellions are trying to get counter damage done. He's not microing them, so he is going to lose them. But GG gets called. All right, a Laser. A little bit cheeky there, but with a very decisive move, takes the first game. A Laser bled off most of his drones, so if we look at the units here before the end, 12 Roaches versus a Raven. All right. So we're going to get right on into the next game. So we've got a Laser got himself an early lead, but We'll see. It's a best of 7. Anything can happen. The next map is going to be on Ire, so Ascensions to Ire here. Okay, so we're just going to be getting right on into it. I assume these players will be roaring to go. And here we are. It's a best of 7, so it could be a long one. It could be a short one. We'll just have to see. The Afreeca World Finals for the 4th Invitational here. I'm glad you guys like these Invitationals and are coming out to show your support for them. Because it's always great to have sort of these tournaments for players to play in. So, the map is Ascension to Ire, so but it's possible we'll see some more cheeky stuff. It's a best of 7, so there's a lot of room for it. Now, Hero Marine's played very standard, so it could be a Laser who goes for more of the cheeky stuff, and he certainly made it work in the last game. So spawning down in the bottom right, you know him, it's a Laser. Making that first series with Petit Drogo very, very quick right now. And now in the top left hand, it is Hero Marine. He sort of had a slugfest with Cyril earlier on. We'll see if he can sort of strike some blows back versus a Laser right now. Looks like it's just going to be a sort of standard Reaper into gas. Well, Rax into gas here for Hero Marine. We'll sort of see how he decides to play this one out. A Laser, though, sticking with that tried and true. So very standard openings from these two guys so far, but I mean the last one was looking pretty standard for a Laser, and then he threw down some gas, got a Nidus, made some roaches, so we'll see how this goes. CC from Hero Marine, there's not a game in which he's sort of delayed that. I mean, we'll see if he'll go for his CC first later on in the series. Versus the Laser, I think it may be a bit more risky, as Cyril is a player who certainly enjoys macroing versus Terrans, so, but versus a guy like Laser, I'm not sure if that's the safest choice. A Marine coming out after this Reaper. So possibly going to try and catch a greedy Overlord if he can. And then just following that up with a Factory Marine. So very standard opening here. Here we have this Reaper's moving in. It's going to poke, but it's not actually going to be able to deny this third base, which a Laser will be able to get up right away. This Reaper's poking in, possibly going to get a drone. Not too likely. It's trying to get it. The drone's making a run for it. It turns into an extractor, and this Reaper's very low. It may just survive. And here we see some... okay, so this is Hero Marine changing his build a little bit. He sort of opened up with a bit of a weird standard opening, then into some strange tech, I guess. The choice of the Medivac Hellion's great for harassment, not great versus a Zerg player going Anitis. Now he's going for a third CC, sort of instead of some aggression, most likely. Following it up with another Rax here, so just going to go into the standard macro play. Hero Marine showed a lot of roots today, in which he was going to be going for... a macro just to sort of push. We'll see. As the Laser is a player who likes to sort of vary in style a lot. We had him in the last Afreeca World, and he got through that. We see these Lings coming in here. Hero Marine keeping them back at home, though, with those Hellions, so not losing anything, I believe. Yeah, just those two Lings have gone down so far. And now Hero Marine's just happily teching a Laser, got in. He sort of scouted He sort of just didn't really see too much. He saw the natural, he saw the Hellions, he saw the Marines. So maybe a laser is going to be a little bit scared of something like a Hellbat timing as he isn't aware of the 3rd CC. But now he's moving in with this Overlord. Hero Marine may be able to kill that off here. And no, it actually just gets out right away as he didn't see it. Hero Marine busy poking with these Hellions right now. So it's going to be a bit of a different push right now. Coming out of Hero Marine, he's going to have these 3 racks. He's going to have a good amount of bile. His Starport's going to be a little bit later here, though. Just getting up to Starport now. Now that 3rd CC is done, but it's been scouted by a laser, so a laser knows there's not likely to be too much aggression coming out here. Hero Marine doing a good job sort of poking and prodding, but it looks like these Hellions and Reaper may be forfeit right now. He's just going to make a dive into the main base, well, into the natural at least. That's as far as he could make it. Sees the upgrades on the way, so a laser going to have quick upgrades, but the stim... Hero Marine may be able to go for some drops and get some damage, and he's got his 3rd CC up right now. So he'll be able to transition right now. So he's just going to have a lot of stimmed bio early on. He's going to have his upgrades on the way, but they will be a little bit later than a laser's. +1 on the way for Hero Marine. He hasn't started his +1 armor. There it is, it's on the way, so he's not really skipping anything. We'll likely see him throw up some more X pretty soon here, as he is just macroing. He's very content right now, but and honestly, I think it's a little bit scary, a laser just sort of getting away with a free licensed macro, but in the past games versus Serral, Hero Marine really made it work, even though Serral sort of got away with that. But we'll see if a laser gives Hero Marine the same opportunity. These Marines and Medivacs are sort of moving out. We'll see if he can deny some creep, maybe kill off some workers or an Overlord or two. Banelings on the way here. We see some actual counterattack coming in from these Lings. These Marines are stimming, so I believe 1 building supply depot was killed off there and 2 SCVs. Nothing amazing right now. We see this drop is going to be shoot away pretty much immediately right now. Hero Marine forced to load up. Do the sort of slow retreat, I guess, as he already used his boost. Now we see we could possibly see a scan here coming out of Hero Marine. He's got the 3 CCs to deal with a sort of creep. Actually going to trade versus those Lings. That was a nice trade for him, as laser engaged without all his Lings right now. He's going to lift off, so that's actually a decent trade-off right there. 26 Lings have gone down in this game right now, but a laser is happily macroing. He's got his 1-1, his 2-2 on the way. Mutalisk are going to be on the way to follow this up. Well, most likely Mutalisk here. Hero Marine is going to have a push though right now. He's up on army supply by about 20. A laser's investing sort of into this Mutalisk tech, so that's actually not really going to help him with an attack, but right now we saw another run by here. Hero Marine trying to catch those Lings, but they're already long gone. We see another drop here. Well, these drops still lurking around. We see these Marines poking forward right now. Hero Marine, it would be nice to see him try and get some sort of damage done, but he's having a tough time right now. Flies right by that Overlord, so Laser's going to be able to prepare for this. But a laser may actually just be focused on going for a counterattack and on defending this push right now. Hero Marine, he's got this rally at home, he's got mines, so he may be able to get some damage done as long as he doesn't take too much back at home. It should be a decent position for him right now. He's going to actually focus down this Baneling nest right now. That's very nice for him. He's pushing into the main, he's pushing into the 4th base right now. A lot of those Marines go down, but a laser's sort of in a bit of a mess right now. He's attacking the 3rd base. Hero Marine is going to need to rally those SCVs home. He's got enough units produced back at home, though, to sort of deal with these Lings. He's dropped into the natural. He's killed off some workers, but not too much right now. Killed off the Baneling nest. He's poking the 4th, but he really didn't get what he needed done there. He killed off about 7 drones throughout that attack, but that wasn't quite enough for Hero Marine. His SCVs were forced to hold to be transferred right now. A laser is now going to have his 2-2, 11 Mutalisk on the way, so this situation is going very, very nice for a laser right now. He's managed to hold on. All these mines are still here, by the way. Hero Marine really needs to get up there to sort of consolidate with this. That one queen eating a mine to the face, but staying alive there. All these lings are going to move in, but they actually may eat one of the mines. Massive mine shots there. They're moving in once again, though, but another mine goes off, and it actually connects again. Those mines getting an absurd amount of kills there. I mean, losing those mines was unfortunate for Hero Marine, but connecting with that many lings before they died, I'd say that was certainly worth it. He must have killed off, what, 50 lings there? So the players are equal on supply right now, but there is Mutalisk Scout. Hero Marine has now identified this, so he's going to have to be in a bit of a panic right now. Hero Marine did an amazing job, though, versus Cyril. Dealing with those Mutalisk, he always kept something at home. He's got a Thor at home right now. He's going to have his 2-2 finishing up as well, so players will be on equal upgrades. So Hero Marine once again finds himself with room to make something happen in this game. A Laser's transitioning, investing into these Mutas, but Hero Marine, if he has good defense versus these Mutas, then he should be in a fine spot right now. This is actually one of my biggest compliments for Hero Marine, is how he's been keeping everything at home. His main base is actually fairly exposed to these Mutalisks, though. So he's going to need to rally those production units up into his main base. Repairing that missile turret, but it does go down, so these SCVs are going to start to bleed out right now, and now the Laser's going to move towards the natural there. This missile turret may be focused down, instead of Laser just going to kill off a few workers there. Meanwhile, Hero Marine, though, pushing into the base of a Laser. He's got that tunneling clause. Once again, Hero Marine really likes that upgrade, so those mines are not spread the greatest, though. We see units rolling forward. Once again, that Thor doing a bit of tanking right now, but a lot of the bio has gone down for Hero Marine, so he's going to be forced back. Those two mines there, they get decent connections. Actually, an amazing connection on that other mine there, but in the end, it does go down. All these medivacs are forced to retreat. The Thor is going to be bled off, and Hero Marine, his production, it's high, but I'm not sure if it's enough to handle this right now. The Mutalisk keeping their value up, staying alive, and now Hero Marine's in a very tough situation. There's 20 Mutas on the way, soon going to be 25. He didn't manage to push there right now, and a Laser is up on supply. 3-3 not on the way for Hero Marine, as he knows he needs to get something done. He can't really afford. He's only on 3 bases, so he's going to start to mine out. His situation's going to deteriorate significantly right now. A Laser getting up a 5th base as well, so this game really is going in a Laser's favor. He's managing to hold on versus Hero Marine. He's making plays happen. We see this Thor being carried out. Maybe it was stuck or something and couldn't get out, or Hero Marine just decided to load it up. Hero Marine may go for one final push right now, but this Ling counterattack could simply just be enough to do him in right now. He raises that depot. This is actually a very neat trick by Hero Marine to keep the units on the depot, so units can't necessarily run around them. But all these units are going to go down to these links, so they do just get this around there. The production is in a decent spot to deal with this right now, but really it's going to come down to Hero Marine trying to make this push happen, but it's mainly just Marines in this push right now. He's going to need amazing splits like he did earlier on in this tournament right now, but he's actually doing a decent job with those splits, but there simply may just be too much for a Laser. That mine is being burrowed and unburrowed, but there's so many Mutas here right now. The Thor actually taking good shots on them, killing off a significant amount right now. The Marine's actually shredding a few more, but a large amount of the Mutalisk survive. Hero Marine's down on supply right now. He's rallied out more units, so he's kept these medivacs alive, but looking at the supply, it is a bit misleading, as 7 medivacs is a significant amount of Hero Marine's army supply. Hero Marine, though, may choose to try and push forward once again. He scans the main base, sees there's a Ultraless Cavern on the way, so he really knows he needs to get something done. There's 21 Banelings on the way, so I'm not sure if Hero Marine's going to be able to make something happen. The Mutas are coming in once again. There's a large amount of Lings just surrounding this. The one mine is going to connect, but the Thor is going to go down. The army of Hero Marines going to go down. His situation is not getting any better right now, but he did seem to manage to hold on to this push, but the Banelings deal with that, deal with those mines there, and GG gets called as a Laser taking the 2-0 lead. Possibly looking to take his second Afreeca World. So we may have to look harder next time to find someone to topple this guy, but I shouldn't be saying that. This tournament is certainly not over right now. It's a best of 7, so there's a lot of room for Hero Marine to come back into this. Coming back down from 0-2 in a best of 7 is not entirely uncommon. So the next map is going to be Defender's Landing here. We're going to be getting right on into this lobby. These players are very content to get through this here. Hope you guys are enjoying the tournament. Make sure to retweet, as I'm always trying to do StarCraft on this channel, so feel free to leave a like or a follow or become a fan, whatever it is on this Afreeca. I'm still fairly new to the website, but it's quite a nice website, and thanks to Afreeca for sponsoring this tournament, as this is the 4th Afreeca World, so going to try and keep doing them as long as I can, as there's lots of great StarCraft players. And now we're going to be getting on into the next game, Defender's Landing here. And now I know the name of this tournament is Afreeca World, and the idea behind it was to have it so that players from all over the world would play, but to avoid lag and things like that, we've just been sticking with EU, trying to organize some tournaments from with other players though, so we may have news on that later on in the future. So we're really going to see how this game is. Spawning down the bottom left-hand side. Intros are sort of redundant. If you guys have been watching, you know who this Zerg player is. It's a laser. Spawning up in the top right-hand side, it is Hero Marine. Hero Marine having a bit of a rough time at the start here. That Nidus and then that other game was fairly close, though, so he's still certainly got a chance in this series. It's not like it was close to a wash or anything like that. Standard, actually, well, I was gonna say standard openings here, but Laser's actually going for an early pool, but it looks like it's just gonna be that early pool expanse, sort of like Cyril did, but Hero Marine sniffed it out and he didn't lose anything to it, so that could really be room for Hero Marine to come back into this series. Defender's Landing really is a map which can go either way. Now we see Hero Marine, he's moving out with an SCV on top of this, so maybe wanting to just get a quicker scout off, make sure that there is no early pool, so he can know to keep his Reaper at home or not. So that's actually very smart of him doing that. This SCV is actually going to confirm the hatchery timing, so that's actually going to save Hero Marine the trouble. He's going to know to keep his Reaper at home. He's going to move and see the Lings there, pull that SCV back. The Lings are going to chase it down. Hero Marine will move out with this Reaper just to catch those Lings, but a laser knows that the Reaper could possibly be on the hunt, and he actually scouted the Reaper, so he knows the Reaper's on the hunt. Mind games between these players, and once again, though, we're seeing a Roach War on the way for a laser. So, this isn't likely going to be like game number 3, though, as This is not likely going to be like game number 3. I believe it's most likely going to be a Roach into Ravager Rush, but this SCV actually just waddles in and sees this Roach War in here. So Hero Marine's gonna know what's coming his way, so we'll see how he decides to deal with some pressure like this. As Laser's just gonna go for it anyway, despite it being cancelled. So Hero Marine's gonna know that this attack is coming. He's getting up a bunker right now. He's gonna be producing Marines here. And he's getting up a factory, so it looks like Hero Marine was going for a 2-on-1. He scouted this Roach Warren, but he is going to need to prepare for this attack as Roaches are being produced, and they're eventually going to move across the map. There's Reapers coming in. He's going to see these Lings here. He hasn't confirmed the Roaches yet, but he's really going to want to. Hero Marine, he's just producing Marines. He's not making a Marauder or anything like that. Nothing else is coming out. He's got this one bunker, but this is a large amount of Roaches. Hero Marine is not aware that this is coming, so he could have scouted this and is not taking the threat seriously enough right now. The Lings are going to move in, the Roaches are going to move in. Hero Marine, he's seeing that there's no drone, so he knows an attack is coming in. He's moving down with these units right now. The SCVs are pulled onto the bunker. They need to start repairing, and they do. The SCVs are going to be focused down, though. The Marines are trying to do the best they can. Pick off the Lings right now, but there is going to be more Lings streaming in as reinforcements. Hero Marine's going to need to lift that depot if he can. He doesn't actually lift the depot, so he's going to be in a bit of a tough situation. SCVs are pulled, but Hero Marine can't afford to lose a few units right now. He's doing a block with the SCVs. Very well done. They're locking those Roaches in there. Not losing too many of the Marines right now, but 14 SCVs have gone down. He does have this double command center, though. He does have this tech on the way right now, but a laser's just committing to this attack, and this is going to be a lot from Hero Marine. Once these Lings get in here, they're going to be able to close the gap, get on top of the Marines right now. Hero Marine's trying to hang on. He's got more Marines rallying out, but they're just sort of going to be fed on. We see these SCVs are pulled. Hero Marine's trying to hang on right now. Another Ravager being morphed to keep that weakened Roach alive, but there's simply not really enough DPS for Hero Marine. The Cyclone comes out, but he's lost so much. He's down to no SCVs. Well, literally one SCV right now, and GG gets called. A laser pulling another cheeky win out. A laser currently up 3-0, wanting to get through this Afreeca world very quickly, and he may just do that here. The next map is going to be Sequencer here. We'll see if Hero Marine can bring it back. I mean, a laser's showing that going 3 games in a row is possible in a best of 7, but now Hero Marine's going to have to reverse it here. Hope you guys are enjoying the tournament. As it's certainly a lot of great games here, a lot of great players. Yeah, laser dirty roaches, someone says in chat. Yeah, a bit, but laser's making it work. Hero Marine's having a bit of a tough time. We'll see if he can bring it back here. And as we saw, Hero Marine took down Cyril, who's a great Zerg, so it's possible that he can. The map is Sequencer. It's a very large map. Now, this may sort of favor Hero Marine's macro, but Zerg players are usually pretty content on large maps here. But as far as the macro style goes, macroing on a large map isn't too terrible, but looking at this, Laser's currently up 3-0 in a best of 7. Spawning down the bottom left-hand side of this map, playing for LaughNgamez Esports. Currently on the ropes, it is Hero Marine. He's going to have to work hard to bring it back. And now spawning up the top right-hand side, it is a Laser, their previous Afreeca World Champion, looking to make it a 2 times running here. So I feel as if this is the time in which Hero Marine decides to go for a CC first, something ballsy to come back into this game maybe. A laser is a bit cheeky though. And no, Hero Marine is going to go for that barracks. I mean, we'll see though. A laser is a very aggressive Zerg, so you can't blame Hero Marine for not going for a CC first, but Hero Marine just not quite reacting to that push. A laser did a fantastic job though if you were watching that. He pushed the Reaper back so it did not see a single roach until they were pretty much at Hero Marine's front door there. And by that time it was almost too late there. Hero Marine didn't have enough units to defend there. Oh, I totally forgot to change the overlay, by the way. There we go, I fixed it. Okay, thank God I checked it there. Okay, there's a 2-minute delay on this stream there, so there's going to be about a minute and a half of my face when there shouldn't be. I made it to pretty much one of the last games of the day before I forgot to do that. Okay, so here we are. Hero Marine is just going for a standard Reaper expand once again. We'll see how he decides to follow this up. It's going to be another rack, so it's going to be a 2-1-1. Once again, we'll see if Hero Marine can make it work. You didn't really see us for any 2-1 versus a laser. It has just been aggression after aggression. And that's sort of the style of a laser right now. We see this Reaper moving out. A laser did just go for a standard hatchery first, so we're not going to see any Lings threatening Hero Marine's command center. Queen's on the way for a laser right now. So Hero Marine going for this 2-1-1. We'll see how it works. It's a larger map, so I find this sort of a bit of an odd choice to go for a 2-1-1 on a map like Sequencer. Is it a long distance for the medivacs to cross? It's going to give a laser a lot of time to react. Now, a laser didn't actually get up this third base. I don't know. The drone, I guess, just hasn't had a chance to get out, so a laser's just going to have to drone. He's floating a bit of minerals. He'd like to get it down a third at this point, but Hero Marine being annoying with that Reaper. Until there's speed out, laser really can't Get it here? So now we see 8 drones on the way. That's where Laser's dumping his money. He's just going to drone up on 2 bases before he gets out his third. This Reaper may actually be able to get this drone still. No, he's actually going to wait, see the move out, go towards the natural base, may get a drone. He's going to go for it. He does. He gets a drone. A drone at the 3-minute mark is nothing to scoff at, but this Reaper is going to go down. However, he confirms there was no lair, I believe. Yeah, he confirmed there was no lair there, so HeroMarine should be feeling pretty safe right now. A Laser throwing up that Evo chamber. Marines out here for HeroMarine. Laser trying to poke and prod. He's likely identified that this is a 2-on-1 by now. So HeroMarine is going to have to be wary of counterattacks, as a Zerg player is very a Terran player is very exposed while going for a 2-on-1 if the Zerg decides to counterattack. And on a map like Sequencer, getting counter damage, if that makes any sense, getting counter damaged after your counterattack can be troublesome. So I'd like to see HeroMarine certainly raise that depot there. He's going to get out these medivacs. He's going to lift up. He's not raised the depot, though, and here come the Lings. Oh, boy. Looks like a Laser is trying to go 4-0, and HeroMarine's in a very tough situation right now. 2 Marines coming out right now to help deal with this. It's only 5 Lings, thank God for HeroMarine, but losing 2 SCVs, losing mining time. Losing possibly another SCV. No, he keeps it alive, so 2 SCVs went down there. Fortunately for HeroMarine, though, it was just 5 Lings there. Right now we see these Marines poking in, they get a creep tumor or 2, but nothing really else, and that's why I was sort of worried of the 2-on-1 for HeroMarine right now. He's following it up with quick upgrades right now. He's getting up a 3rd CC, but he is still just on the 2 racks right now, so really it's just going to be these few drops that he has into the 3rd CC. Laser has a very quick 1-1, by the way. Well, in respect to HeroMarines. HeroMarine trying to poke, gets a creep tumor or 2. Laser knows he can't really jump on top of these Marines. HeroMarine's doing a good job, maybe going to try and get a queen, but it's going to be very tough. Right now we see HeroMarine, he's going to try and come in from another angle, catch a Laser off guard. Laser, I don't believe, has seen this. No, he hasn't. So HeroMarine's going to try and poke around. We see a Laser just keeping his Lings in the center of his base, wanting to know where the next attack's going to come, as it's usually non-stop. Now we see +1 missile attack, so it's possibly that this is going to be the sort of Lingbane Hydra here, and yes, it certainly is, coming out of a Laser. Marines moving in, they're going to stim, they're going to start trying to shave off units here and there, but still not too much done. We see another drop moving in here. This is sort of expected, though. He may be able to get the 4th base right now, but a Laser's likely going to pull back. Maybe get an overlord or 2. That's very nice for HeroMarine. So going to mess with a Laser's macro. They're going to pull back. There's really no banelings here, so he will be able to hide behind these mineral lines, but he's forced to lift off as he doesn't quite get tucked in there. Now, he comes into the 3rd base, so this is very nice for HeroMarine. Taking off 4 drones, but losing one of the medivacs. That may have been a bit of an overextension. Gonna try and focus down those banelings to lift off, and one of them may lose the medivac, though. If he lost both of them and all those Marines, it would be terrible for him. Drops, though, once again. Sort of securing this position is very nice to trade with the Lings there. Heads on immediately to the main base. That queen doesn't quite go down. Immediately injects. HeroMarine trading with those Lings, but he's going to need to get those medivacs out of there. Loses all the Marines, so while it looks like HeroMarine was trying to get a good amount of damage done there, he really did not. A Laser held the 4th base. He's at 62 drones. He's getting out the Hydra, so he's going to need to move these medivacs right away. HeroMarine, go, go, go. Oh, those medivacs are most likely going to be forfeit there. HeroMarine having a very tough time in this series. He's got his 2-2 on the way, whereas the Laser's sort of just heading into what is going to be, I guess, he's going to have his own 2-2 on the way, but right now he's busy upgrading the +1 missile attack. So HeroMarine will have slightly better upgrades for a short period of time. But on a map this large, he's going to be tough to get. It's going to be tough for him to get damage on. He has secured his own third base, though, so he will sort of strengthen up for a while right now. But we see this counterattack getting ready for a laser. That's a lot of lings moving across. Hero Marine, though, is ready right now. A laser's just running right on into that third base. Hero Marine's going to need to get those Marines in there to defend right away. A laser moves on in. Hero Marine needs to react to this. Sims some of those Marines, but 7 SCVs go down in the meantime there. Very nice for a laser. Hero Marine also losing those medivacs, sort of dented his medivac count. So he's only got 2 right now. I'd like to see him unload that weakened one. That's for sure. There we see this Ling counterattack come in once again. Now we see a poke from the front. All those Hydras, these Banes, Hero Marine's got to defend. He's got to multitask this harassment and split from a laser is very nice. That medivac is still loaded up. Hero Marine having a very tough time right now. A laser's looking to try and secure a 4-0 with this push, with these Hydras, with these Banes. The Marines actually have a very tough time trading. This one siege tank could be very critical for this defense, and it may let him hold on, but Hero Marine's lost 17 SCVs. He's been forced to pull them back, and now these 2 fresh mules he's dropped are also going to be in trouble. This one tank is going to start shelling away. Hero Marine, he took a trade there. I believe he actually killed off a good amount of those Hydras there. But his third base is forced to lift off once again. He's down to 50 workers right now. He's got his 2-2, and that's likely why he managed to clean up those Hydras, but everything else is not looking too good for him. A laser's likely just going to consolidate at home. He just needs some Banelings. He just needs some Hydras, some Lings, whatever he can get, and he's going to have this 2-2 as well. And oh, was the 2-2 actually denied there? Yeah, Hero Marine didn't get +2 attack. Oh, no. That's actually a massive critical loss there for Hero Marine. He's going to be very tough pressed. His Marines are going to do much less damage. He's really going to have to rely on these siege tanks now. He's trying to push in, but it's really going to be a while before he gets to anywhere that's actually critical for a laser. Hero Marine really needs to try and get some damage done. There's another counterattack getting ready, though. There's units here, though, but a laser's just going to dive into the natural. Hero Marine's returning, trying to clean this up as quick as he can, so he will actually manage to do that. He's dropping at the 4th base right now. With this tank, he can abuse these cliffs, so it's going to be tough for a laser to break down, but he's actually going to move down with the Queen to absorb the tank shots. One of the tanks was on siege there, but a laser actually decides to back off. Meanwhile, Hero Marine, he's abusing this position very nicely, trying to keep these units alive. That one medivac needs to be careful. The Hydras are actually going to get on top of that. It boosts out just in time to stay alive there. Hero Marine dropping more and more units, trying to just shell away at the hatchery, but 6 Ultralisk are on the way. Hero Marine's producing tanks 2 at a time. He's got that +1 vehicle weapon, so he may be able to get the hatchery. In the end, he actually may be able to deny 1 or 2 of the Ultra eggs, maybe just 1 of them, which is significant, but he saw those Ultras pop out, and he knows that can be good. Killing off that 4 health Ultra egg would actually be very nice. It won't actually cost a laser the money, but it will make 1 less Ultra. He gets the egg. But now these Ultras, they can be siege breakers. There's only 3 tanks here for Hero Marine, a 4th coming in. But it is literally just Marines. These Marines don't even have +2 attack right now. The Ultralisk don't have chitinous plating just yet, though. So this may be the time for Hero Marine to try and make something happen, but with just Marines and tanks, it's going to be very tough for him to do that. There's a lot of Banelings, there's a lot of Hydras, and now a laser's taking the engagement. The Marines are forced to kite back. They're doing the best they can to these Ultras now have chitinous plating. These Marines only have +2 attack, but these tanks doing work, though. It seems that Hero Marine's actually sort of making something happen right now. He's moving in. There's actually no Banelings, which is very significant right now. This one Ultra's moving in. There's a lot of Marines here, so they can actually sort of focus down the Ultras quick enough, but the Queens are now dumping transfuses. The Ultra's eating more and more tank shots. It will go down, but all these Marines are in the red. The tank's shelling away, and it seems that Hero Marine is not quite going to be able to break a laser, and this counterattack could just seal the deal for a laser right now. This one Ultra counterattack, GG gets called as a laser manages to take the series. Very, very well played. It was a bit of a quick Afreeca world today, as the laser once again coming in and just stomping. He dropped 1 map, taking down Petit Drogo and Hero Marine, which is a very impressive feat by a laser. Laser being the top 2 WCS challengers, Zerg, so I mean that sort of explains it a bit there, but very well done there by a Laser. He takes the 4-0. Now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this Afreeca World. I'm always trying to organize more of these. Big thanks to Afreeca for sponsoring the tournament. I mean, here Marine took down Cyril, but ended up falling to a Laser. A Laser being the first person to secure 2 wins in a row in Afreeca World, so that means he'll be invited to the next one. I hope you guys have enjoyed the tournament. Those of you with Afreeca accounts will follow or whatever, as I'm trying to do content whenever I can here. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, so thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye-bye.